Special Olympics summer games.
Now, summer games are actually the 6th, 7th, and 8th, correct?
6th and 7th,
I'm
Friday,
sorry, 6th,
Saturday.
7th,
Yeah,
6th and 7th,
and so 6 sports. People who are watching, those who have not really experienced Special Olympics, we've got a few people who are who are part of Special Olympics who go over the edge, but then we have several people who have never seen Special Olympics before, first timers. And so I've always said to them, you know, the best way you can see what your donation, what your contribution through this event to is to get to an event and see it. You've seen it hanging the medal around the neck. And people need to go out there. So, Pat, we're going to let you go. I assume you're going to go out and get another hot dog?
No, I'm going back upstairs to volunteer.
Oh, there you go.
I'll be here all day. Come on.
There you go. Well, listen, that's why they're waiting for me to cut the talk so you can get where you need to go. Pat, thank you for your support of Special Olympics all year round, not just today. Pat Malloy, ladies and gentlemen, Wilmington Police Department. He's going to head back upstairs. He went over the edge. Now he's going to spend the rest of the day volunteering. You can see the crowd is building here. I believe that's the Special Olympics team from William Penn. One of their employees, Mrs. Bates, is going to be going over the edge very soon. Lee Berkey and Connie Crum have both landed. That is Norm Dagg. You see Norm got a shout-out on Twitter. Go Nubs, that's Norm's nickname, and that was from Bonnie Smith. A couple other Twitters. Kelly DeMaio, shout out to my cousin Anita. So proud of you. You killed it. Anita, of course, landed a little bit earlier. Jackie Sheldon, cannot wait to see Kayla Miller rappel from this 17-story building. Kayla's scheduled time is to go over at 2:20. Kayla's one of about a dozen people who raised more than $2,000. And when you raise more than $2,000, you actually get a video, personal video done for you on a disc that you are able to use at your discretion, social media, that type of thing for you, those that raise $2,000. Everything else, everyone else who participates in this raises $1,100. This is the 4th annual Over the Edge event to benefit Special Olympics Delaware. More than $350,000 has been raised during the 3 years. We expect to get very close to the $450,000 mark this year. 74 people will have rappelled by 4 o'clock today. 41% of them are repeat edgers. We've talked to several first-timers and a few fourth-timers, including Ralph Citrullo, Marianne Evans. Greg Lavelle has gone over for the 4th time. Still to go today, but it will be for the 4th time. Danny Hall, Andy Manning, Jason Stevenson, who is the actual torch runner of the year. We just talked to Pat Malloy about the torch run. Jason Stevenson has been named the torch runner of the year, and he will have the honor of lighting the cauldron with the Special Olympics Athlete of the Year, Elizabeth Nolan, at this year's opening ceremonies on Friday night, June 6th. At the Bob Carpenter Center at the University of Delaware. If you want something fun to do, come out and see that. It's at 5 o'clock. It's an experience you will never forget. It's 1 hour, free admission, and you get to see us celebrate the athletes of Special Olympics Delaware. You can see the crowd there outside on the, what I call the patio of the TD Bank branch. Of course, TD Bank, one of the sponsors, along with Brandywine Realty Trust, which owns this 300 Delaware Avenue building. Delaware Law Enforcement for Special Olympics, Sheraton Suites Wilmington, and the Delaware Rock Gym, all supporters. You see Norm Dagg there. Norm is a parent of a Special Olympics athlete. His son Steve has been involved in Special Olympics for years. Steve Dagg also, in addition to playing just about every sport there is for Special Olympics Delaware, he's the longtime manager of the Newark High football team. So if you're ever out seeing the Newark High football team, you'll see Steve on the sideline there. Steve's been out of school for, I believe, over 10 years, but he still goes every Friday night wherever Newark High is playing. And you can see Norm getting ready to go. This is his 2nd year, so he has done this before. He knows that feeling. He's employed by Bank of America, and he wanted to thank Nick DeMartine and Steve Dixon, as well as Bank of America, for supporting him. He's also a 10-year plunger. Norm has done the plunge for 10 years. Kim Bates, I'm not sure if that's her. We will find out. That's Jane Tomzik, but I mentioned Kim because we saw the crowd down there waiting for her to come down there. This is going to be Jane Tomzik coming down. Jane is also a parent. And so I know Kim is here. Those of you that have tuned in, she's probably going through the training. Jane is a 3rd-year edger. She went over the last 2 years, so this is her 3rd year. She works in the Meadowood program for the Red Clay School District. The Meadowood program is a program for students with intellectual disabilities. They are one of the programs in Special Olympics that have been involved the longest. This is my 25th anniversary of Special Olympics, and the Meadowood program was firmly entrenched before I ever get here. Mary Moore, the longtime program director for that. Ziggy Tomzik is her, Jane's son. and she volunteers not only for the Meadowwood School but also outside of the Meadow School in roller skating, soccer, snowshoeing, and with the Wilmington Wizards in bowling. So she's looking forward to a smooth descent. She's not keen on heights, she said, so that first year was a trial. The second year, they said they asked her to stop and wave, but she had a little bit of an issue at the top. This year should be a charm, and I'm hoping for smooth sailing. We're not sure what that issue was other than it was solved, as she did obviously make it down to the bottom. So she wanted to thank all her supporters, Chris and fellow co-workers in the Meadowwood program, HB DuPont, McCain High School, and the Red Clay administration, family, friends, and her former students, namely Shannon, for motivating her for that. I'm going to bring Jimmy Smith back on here. Jimmy's been giving you this wonderful production here. Jimmy, we're 2.5 hours in, which means we're not quite halfway. Things look smoothly on my end, but I'm not doing anything except running my mouth.
We
so
just had our first computer switch, which people noticed we went off the air for about 15, 20 seconds. I literally changed which computers we were using, trying not to run these things into the ground. This is a big undertaking. You mentioned it multiple times. This is the first time that anybody's done this start to finish. 10 hours for machinery is a long time. So we've got a couple fans running on some of the equipment pieces, and we did our first computer switch to make sure that we stay on the air. So some technical stuff, and I apologize for being off the air there for a couple seconds, but I had to make sure that we did it when people were on the ground rather than while they were up on the edge there.
Yeah, and that was perfect timing. It's safe to say the people that have tuned in are more interested in the shot we're showing now than the shot at the bottom. That's Norm Dagg on the left and James Tomsick on the right, coming down the building. And thumbs up from Jimmy. Katie, the wonderful intern at Special Olympics, has brought lunch in.
I wasn't sure if I was going to get to it. It had to come to me, and it did.
Yeah, we can go off the air for 15 seconds, but you and I didn't have time to go out for lunch.
Correct.
I think that's what it's come down to.
But
so
there it is.
There it is. Katie's done a great job. Katie's been the one feeding Jimmy the names of who's coming down, so that even if I'm talking about something completely irrelevant to the actual two people coming down, you who have tuned in to see those people come down can certainly see who they are. Again, that's James Tomsick on the right, and Norm Dagg is the one on the left a little bit further down. And these are both repeat edgers here. And Jimmy, you've now watched this for 2.5 hours. Do you have any more motivation to do this with me next year than you did 2.5 hours ago?
I mean, my motivation is on the side of supporting Special Olympics, not on the side of necessarily doing this. Just hearing the stories, hearing people's involvement for multiple years, whether it's this or the plunge or just anything else, coaching or just being a part of it.
Right.
Those are the things that make you want to maybe go crazy for a 7-minute span while you're on the side of a building. So, but this is just such a cool thing, and you know, it's part of a larger organization in Special Olympics. It's part of a larger run event in Over the Edge, and having it here in Delaware and being a part of it here today with great success on a day that 30%, 40%, 50% rain. Now it's all gone, and now we can come down with no problems.
Yeah, and you and your staff have done a wonderful job. Your camera operators, again, all either current University of Delaware students or recent graduates, Jessica Philippek, Nina Raspa, Mike Winsley, and Jennifer DeLuca. They've been here since the start this morning. Most of them were here last night. Helping set up, and it was quite a process.
Yeah, great group. This is a really top-notch group. It's all there's one junior. Mike is the junior. Everybody else is seniors, and Jessica Philippek, who I'm used to having here now. This is Jen. Jess is the recent graduate. She graduated in the winter and looking for jobs now. So this is the team that's been with me for my time at the University of Delaware. I'm the assistant AD for multimedia, so in charge of all the web production, the video, the social media. So these are the guys that helped me grow that program. So we've done this plenty of times, just not done it like this. There's always a bat, a ball, a court, a field, something, but we're on the side of a building or 250 feet up. So this was a cool challenge, and we did a lot of logistical things, a lot of planning, how much cable, how much tape, how much slack, which cameras are we going to use, and we're happy this has really been working well so far.
Now, is this probably the most, for lack of a better word, complicated event you've been involved with in your career?
Yeah, I mean, because I wasn't exactly sure what to, and I did the site visit. You guys had me by about a month ago, and I saw the building, and I'm trying to envision human beings coming down the building, and it's difficult to do. And then there's other logistical things, like, I run the cable in my head, and I go, oh, no, we're fine. This is no problem. And then something happens, and we need a little more cable, or there's a couple other things that we had to kind of take into consideration and kind of work through, and the team's been so great both here at the building and the team I brought in here today, of making the adjustments, working with us, making sure we're safe, because we are running a cable down the building just like they're running the cable for the over the edger. So we had to make sure that was safely out of the way. So there were a lot of other things on the safety side that we had to make sure we were playing nice, and we got the shots. Shots have been fantastic. The access has been great. And we're just happy to capture this for everybody.
And I assume you've given the date out for next year to all your crew so we can get them all back.
Yeah, I mean, we would be honored to make this a continual thing. I mean, logistically, doing the 10-hour broadcast, you do it once, you could do it again.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure that all these guys, they were so excited about doing it. Some of them were very excited about maybe going over the edge themselves, but they were more excited about seeing the people and seeing the faces and being a part of this. And it's just been fantastic.
Yeah, well, that's great. And again, you've done a great job. It's been great working with you. You and I know each other just from being on the same complex, and we've had some interaction, but we got to work a lot closer, and it's been an honor. And you guys have been great. And I was telling somebody, I told my wife who was a guest in here, this morning. She said, "Are you nervous about going on this morning?" I said, "I'm not nervous at all. I don't have to do anything but get on and talk."
Yeah,
she
yeah.
said, "Well,
you got to talk for a long
certainly
time.
do that. I got to talk for a long time." But I said, just watching Jimmy and his crew last night with what they were doing. Every time I checked in just to say, hey, how's it going, they had just everything under complete control. We've had so many people who have popped in here and said, wow, look at this operation. I don't think people realize what goes into it. For those of you who you haven't seen where we're working, we literally have 6 computers hooked up. Jimmy's got his phone going. There's a couple other phones, so you can imagine the camera angles we're getting. And so it really is quite an extensive operation. And so, Jimmy, you've done a great job. We appreciate your help. We're going to bring on Connie Crum now and talk to her. We're going to have Jimmy back later. In addition to all his work he's done, Jimmy's an experienced play-by-play guy, too, so he gives my voice a little bit of a break as well once in a while. Connie, all the way from Pennsylvania.
Oh, yeah, so far. It's just over the line.
That's a great thing about Delaware. Nothing's far away.
No.
We're talking about Pennsylvania, New Jersey, or Delaware. Now, talk about your involvement in Special Olympics over the past 15 years.
I got involved with helping out coaching clinics for tennis, and then got involved with the summer games as a volunteer. It's been fabulous. They're a great group of people.
And this is your first time you went over, right?
Yes.
And how did you decide to go over this? Kind of a neat story.
Yeah, well, for many years people have tried to get me to do the polar bear plunge.
Right.
And since I don't do water in the ocean until it's 70 degrees, there's no way in God's green earth I'm doing it in February. So this appealed to me much more.
Oh, that's funny. Jane Tomsic there has landed. You can see a wave to the crowd. Now, Jane's a repeat edger. I believe it's her 3rd year. Something you might consider doing again sometime?
Yeah. I've had a lot of supporters. Practically my whole crew from work is here, so I don't know who's running the office. But it was great. It's great seeing them.
Oh, that's great. There you see Norm Dagg. People may wonder, Norm got hung up there for just a second. What happens, and I know they explained this to you up top, if you start going too fast, either intentionally, you can't go too fast accidentally because you only go as fast as you pull that lever. But it does lock up, and it's a safety thing that they do. Did that happen to you at all?
I was afraid it was going to happen because all of a sudden I felt like I was going really fast. And so I just remembered to let up on the lever a little bit, and it slowed me down. It stopped me because I was afraid. I wanted to stop myself. I didn't want to have to be stopped. Now, so it was great.
Now, will we see you at Summer Games at the tennis venue?
Yep, I'll be there
every year.
Friday and Saturday.
We see you there, and it's a great time. And tennis is the one event. It's funny when we do have rain. I think that sport is impacted more than any other because last year they had to move the venue, or was it the year before?
I think it was the year before.
And where did they move it the year before?
I think we were down at Elkton.
At Elkton the year before, okay. And I know one of the rain plans one year I think was to maybe go to DuPont up in Wilmington.
Yes, I think so.
And so as generous as those folks are to provide the sites, and there's nothing better than being at the University of Delaware with everybody else. So we'll start praying for a clear day right now for that. Connie, thank you for all you do. Today was a tremendous effort to raise all that money, but we know the number of hours that you put in over those 15 years. That's just immeasurable. So thank you for being part of Special Olympics.
Thank you for all you do, too.
Alrighty, thanks. That's Connie Crum going down. She just finished up her first time. If you're watching this and wondering whether or not this is something you might want to do, you can certainly think about it, but if you want to sign up, you're motivated to do it today, you can go to SODE.org, click on the Over the Edge banner, and then it will take you to the landing page for Over the Edge, and you will have the opportunity to sign up today. It does require an $1,100 fee, but today all we need is a $50 commitment by credit card, and then you will have an opportunity for the next 12 months to raise the money for Special Olympics Delaware. We even give you an opportunity to look at some fundraising facts on our webpage and help you whenever we can. All right, we've got Marcy Van is on the rope. Marcy Van is her name. And Corey Walsh also are getting ready to come down. So if you are a fan of either Marcy Van or Corey Walsh, then you are getting ready to come down. And it's funny, we're looking at Marcy's last name, and I think that is her full last name. It's funny, she does a lot of the uniforms for us, and her email is Marcy Van, and that's how I know her, which, needless to say, is a lot easier than pronouncing that name. In fact, I'm not even going to attempt it. I'm going to let all of you at home decide how you want to Marcy Van's last name. And so Marcy coming down, she's done a lot of work for us, and that's Corey Walsh coming down as well. Marcy, I know, is a first-time edger. Corey Walsh has not gone down either, so she's a first-time edger. She's involved with the Lord Baltimore Lions Club, and the Lions are a sponsor year-round for Special Olympics Delaware, and the Lord Baltimore Lions are no different. So Lord Baltimore, that's the one down in Ocean View, and so Corey has come a long way to repel 17 stories. Again, if you're just tuning in, this is the live internet stream of the 2014 Over the Edge event to benefit Special Olympics Delaware. This fourth annual event is sponsored by TD Bank and Brandywine Realty Trust, and it's taking place at the 300 Delaware Avenue building in Wilmington, Delaware. We're approaching the lunch hour here in Wilmington. So if you, for some reason, are tuned into this somewhere in the city, come on down. The rain is gone, from what I understand. We're huddled inside, but from all indications we've got from our camera crew out there, the rain is gone. So a short walk will get you to the 300 Delaware Avenue building. TD Bank, I believe, is giving out free hot dogs outside for anybody that comes by to watch. And Jimmy's kind of making a face there like he wasn't offered that option. He's got an Italian sub, though, so I think he's doing all right for himself. This building is 17 stories. I did a little bit of research on the internet, and what I came up with is it's the 7th tallest building in Wilmington. The tallest is the Chase building at 330 feet. This building is 222 feet, or if you're one of those people who likes exact numbers, it's actually 221 feet 6 inches. But either way, the 7th tallest building here at 300 Delaware Avenue, owned by Brandywine Realty Trust, one of the sponsors of this event. As you see, Corey Walsh and Marcy taking their first dip back. This building was in Maine, South Dakota, Vermont, or Wyoming. It would be the tallest buildings in those states. So certainly a tall building, 222 feet, 17 stories, and people rappelling. Both Marcy and Corey, who you see up there right now, are coming down for the first time. Again, tweet your support to somebody at #OverTheEdgeDE. Or tell us where you're watching from. We're probably over 200, 250 viewers at this point. We know people are popping on and off. Most of you have probably tuned in to see a particular person or just to get an idea of what this event is all about. It's probably safe to say you're not tuned in for all of what will be an 8-hour broadcast before it's all said and done. Our final repellers are scheduled to go off at 4 o'clock. We are actually right on schedule. And again, if you are just tuning in, the people who you've hopefully seen, the people who you would hope to see. Right now we have Marcy going over and Corey Walsh on deck. We're still waiting for Kim Bates to go over, David Booth, Kim Evans, Julia Norbutt, all scheduled to go on within the next half an hour or so. So we are over 1,000 people. Jimmy has shown me the flash card. Wow, 1,000 people have tuned in today to watch Over the Edge live. And so lots of people tweeting sending us tweets to show us what's going on. If you don't have a Twitter account, you can email us at info@sode.org and just put in the subject line who you are and where you're tweeting from, and we'll be sure to get it up here and give you a message. So it's been a wonderful day so far. We're almost 3 hours into the broadcast. We've been fortunate enough to get a lot of people to come on the air to us afterwards and talk about their experience. There's a couple people I know. I've asked Kayla Miller, and I'm sure that, Bell, if you're from Delaware, you certainly know that name, former point guard for the University of Delaware. She's going to be going over the edge at 2:20. And Corey and Marcy, Jimmy's giving them the slow down side so they don't lock up. They went over that last lip pretty quick there. And so one little last hope there, she may have locked up. And I've seen that happen to a couple people. I think they get excited. They're almost on the ground. They speed up and lock up. But it's something that is a safety measure, and we've talked time and time again that it is something that we take great pride in. Worldwide, they've run thousands of events, this Over the Edge North America company, and completely safe rating, 110% success rate. Marcy has landed, so Marcy's excited. She's from Maryland. As I mentioned, she does a lot of the screen printing for Special Olympics Delaware. A lot of the uniforms you will see our athletes are compliments of Marcy and her company down there. And this is Corey still making the way down there as we approach the almost 12 o'clock noon, the lunch hour. This is when the crowd really does build outside, and especially the way it is cleared up, we expect that to happen. At some point, there's going to be a rope check, and when they do have the rope check, that means basically folks don't come down. It's going to happen not till 1:20. I thought it might be a little bit sooner. So we've got a couple other Special Olympics videos we're going to show you so you get a real sense of what this is all about. But we don't want to do it when we know people are coming down, because you tuned in to watch the people coming down. Speaking of people coming down, Norm Dagg has landed. And so we're going to ask Norm to come on the radio here with us, or I guess the live stream. I'm used to being on the radio. This is not radio. This is live, Norm. I'll get you situated there and your mic turned up. Norm, you look like you're sweating a little bit.
Yeah, it was kind of a even though it was my second time doing it, it wasn't any easier. I didn't think.
We've had a lot of people, second, third, fourth timers, and they all basically, I don't think anybody said it's been easier. It's been a different experience. You looked a little nervous at the top. We've got the view. You're seeing the final view, but we also have the view from up top, and so we were able to see you when you're harnessed up there, and you looked a little nervous. And trust me, I understand completely. I'm in no way mocking you for that. But.
Oh, I know. They just kept saying, all you got to do is breathe. Just breathe. And I don't know. I don't think I was breathing too well up there.
Trying to get down. Corey has landed. So our last two, not our last two, but the last two that were up on the building now, wave to the crowd there, thumbs up. Norm, I've been doing this event for 4 years now, either emceeing on the ground or now, of course, this year here doing the internet broadcast. And, I've never had any first-timers, and we've had a few come in who have come in and said, I'm never doing that again. And what is it that gets you coming back? I mean, you came back. Obviously, it's for a good cause. You're a parent of a Special Olympics athlete. You and your wife, Rose, are big supporters as volunteers year-round, have been for as long as I can remember. But what made you want to come back and go over the edge again?
Well, I think it's just because of the cause. I didn't have any problem raising the money. It seemed like people at work from Bank of America and, Steph and Nick, Steph Dixon, we did some fundraisers and all. So it wasn't hard to get the money. And I really, the first year I did it, I really wanted, when I seen Winnie Spence have that vest on, I said, I need one of those vests because not many people have those. And now for a second year, you get a jacket. So,
yeah, there you go.
So it makes it easier, a little bit easier.
Yeah, I was going to say, you can buy a jacket at Walmart for $20.
Yeah, but it doesn't say over the edge.
Nah, there you go.
And not many people will have that jacket when you're walking around.
You're right.
So, that helps a little bit too. But it's for the Special Olympics. That's what it's all about.
Now, you did. I want you to be able to give a shout out to one of your. You had a couple, or at least one unique fundraising event. I know a buddy of yours owns a restaurant or something. Talk about that.
Oh, we went to Famous Pat's, and for 2 hours, people can come in and drink. They have 8 beers on tap. You can have 2 hours of all the beer you can drink, and all the pizza you can eat.
And so that was a great fundraiser for you. How much did that raise? Do you remember?
A little over $500.
Oh wow! So that was halfway to your goal.
Right.
And who do you want to give a shout out to? Somebody who's the owner of that, or some contact you have there?
Oh,
you know.
Okay. Steph Dixon and Steph and Nick's the one that turned us on to them.
But it was Pat's. Where is the Pat's located?
Right there on Kirkwood Highway behind the Applebee's.
Great. Yeah, we just like to give out. There's a lot of organizations, a lot of people that really support. They're supporting you, but the bottom line is they're supporting Special Olympics.
We had like 30. I think we had 32 people there that came that night. So.
Oh wow! All right, we're looking at Kim Bates here. She's a fellow parent as well. Her son actually goes to William Penn High School. The crowd that you've seen down the bottom, a large part of them are from William Penn High School. They actually brought a busload. I want to say a boatload. It's not raining anymore. A busload of their Special Olympics team here. Her son Justin is one of those Special Olympics members. And Kim is a repeat person for sure. It's her third year. She's gone over the past 2 years, and so we'll see what she has to say about it. So, Norm, 2 years down, possibly a third year? Wait until you catch your breath before you answer that question.
I don't know about that.
Wait and see. Well, as we've told people, your job, if you're not going to do it a third year, is find somebody else to take your spot.
Exactly, like my wife.
There you go. I think she would be a perfect
I think she would look good in a vest.
There you go. All right, folks. Norm Dagg. Norm, thanks for stopping by. We'll let you go grab something to eat, catch your breath. Thanks for supporting Over the Edge.
Yeah, thanks, John.
All right, that was Norm Dagg from Newark, Delaware, a longtime supporter of Special Olympics as a parent, as a coach, as a volunteer, all kinds of stuff. I'm going to turn the headset over to Jimmy and ask him if he doesn't mind if I take a few-minute break here and let him take the way.
For what? You trying to eat right now?
I saw you inhaled the final part of your thing.
Get out of here. I'll take care of us from here.
All right, I'm going to put Jane. I'm going to start you off easy. You're going to have a guest right off the bat. This is Jane Tomsic. She is a Special Olympics parent who is going to chat about her descent. She's a repeat edger, and I'll let you tell her story, and I'll be back in a few minutes.
Thank you, sir. Third year here for Jane. Jane, thanks for joining us. How was that?
It was exciting again.
It was exciting again?
It's like the first time every time.
Was it more or less exciting?
It was more exciting.
More exciting?
Because I was able to go a little bit faster than I did before, and all my students were below cheering me on.
Talk about that. When you have a group that supported you either financially or emotionally in this case, does it make it easier? Does it make it harder at the top, easier at the bottom? Take us through, because I'm sitting here the whole day. So
well, at the top you can't hear anything.
Well, true.
So, but at the bottom, when you hear them cheering you on, it makes it all worthwhile. I work with students with special needs, so this is what I'm doing it for them and my son. My son is also special needs. Yeah,
I was going to ask you why is this such an important not only event but organization? It sounds like it's close to your heart.
It is because of this program, these athletes can do things that people think they can't do. They can play football, they can run, they can swim, they can play soccer. It's amazing, this program.
I think one of the cool things about this event in particular is that it gives people who feel like maybe they can't help or couldn't figure out a way to help. This is a way for your craziness of going on the side of the building to make a difference.
Yes.
And you think that that's a good kind of a good way to show people that those extreme people could benefit an organization like this.
Yes, I do. And hopefully this will make them think that they can do it too. We encourage other people to come out and watch and help and do something like this.
How about, do you have any words of wisdom up at the top, or have any words of wisdom with your partner who you're coming down with at the same time? Or were you providing the wisdom?
No, I was not. No, my partner went down before me, so actually it was Norm.
Was Norm? Yeah, that's right.
Norm
I thought I remember that.
Before but then me. But the only words of wisdom is try to relax, because I was having a little issue relaxing a little.
Yeah.
So just relax and enjoy it.
Everybody's been saying you do the practice, one story.
Yes.
Got it. I can do this.
Yeah, but that's a lot different.
There's 16 more.
Yes.
What's the plans for the rest of the day?
Rest of the day, well, I'm going to watch some of my fellow edgers come down. I don't know who they are, but I'm going to cheer them on.
Make a day out of it.
And, yeah.
Thank you so much, Jane.
Thank you very much.
Thanks. Enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you. You too.
All right, that was Jane, who went down with Norm, as we just mentioned. So we got another group coming up here right now. Waiting to get some names for you. Not as well traveled as a John Busby in terms of knowing these individuals, so I apologize. He may be able to have already let us know who that was. I believe the difference between the two is so great. One's nearly at the bottom, one at the top. Seems like throughout the day they're getting faster and faster. As we have a look there, as one just beginning to go. This such a cool event to see. You see that moment of stress, you see that moment of despair even, and then you see the excitement. This shot right here, this is what it's all about when you get to the bottom. That smile and those that came with them. And that was on the yellow. That was number 32. They give them numbers. That's Kim Bates, who just finished up. So Kim Bates has landed. And the other is Kim Evans. So we have the dueling Kims going here. And there you see Kim Bates, free of the helmet, and now ready to get interviewed there by the MC. She's a parent of Justin Bates. She's coached basketball, flag football, swimming, track and field, and soccer. A member of the MOT Tigers family liaison manager. As there she's being freed of her restraints there. This is Kim Evans. She's always done polar bear plunge, 4 years now, and she wanted to do more. So, obviously, you go down a building. And Kim Evans doing so right now. This is her first time. She did get practice rappelling in Mexico last summer, and she's not completely over her fear of heights. And you're seeing a little bit right now is slowing up a tad is Kim Evans. And they're playing Pharrell Williams right now, playing his hit song Happy. Just happens to be her favorite artist. Maybe that'll help her get down a little bit faster here. Kim Evans is having issues coming down here now, but thank you to her for all the support of Special Olympics of Delaware. So maybe it looks like the belayers and the rope techs have started to take over a little bit here, helping her out. She did free up that left hand to give a wave. And we take another look back up top as a couple more edgers begin to prep. You're watching the live internet stream of the 2014 Over the Edge event to benefit Special Olympics Delaware. This is the 4th annual Over the Edge, sponsored by TD Bank and Brandywine Realty Trust, taking place here at 300 Delaware Ave. So make your way down here to catch in all the fun. As John mentioned earlier, it's lunch hour. He's about to eat himself as you just pop back in. So if you have that lunch break, you got a sandwich, something mobile, bring it down here to 300 Delaware Ave and watch some courageous people make their way down the 221.6-foot building. Julia Norbert and David Booth have begun to get ready. We're seeing David right now. As we see Kim Evans still fighting her way through it, making her way down. Each of these participants raised $1,100 for the opportunity to rappel down the side of Wilmington, one of Wilmington's tallest buildings. As there you see David Booth begin to think about the process here. So there's David Booth there, beginning to get ready to go down. Julia Norbut is the other, as she will wait for Kim Bates, who you see right there, who's a couple head shakes there, as you see. Maybe wasn't the experience she had planned for. Still happy, though, to be a part of here today. She's trying to figure out the new hand controls. And, yeah, it looks like the rope techs from over the edge have almost guided her down to safety. And she has right now, she's a leader in the clubhouse with length of descent. So we'll have to get Kim in here and see what maybe became the issue there, as we see the begin for David Booth. And David Booth, this is his third year, 2012, 13, and 14. And you see Kim Bates touched down almost, maybe. Almost. She's smiling, though. And much like her other Kim friend on the line, Kim Evans, they both love Pharrell. And Kim Bates has landed. This is her third year rappelling. She likes peeping in the office windows and waving at people. And then she likes to hear the crowd cheer when she makes it all the way down to the bottom. She works at John G. Leach, a school for severely handy-capable students in the Colonial School District. So very close to her heart, rather. And here is David Booth, who's requested that when he touches down, or at least to get him excited to do so, that Queens, We Are the Champions will play. As you see him there turn completely around and wave to the fans. A move we haven't really seen quite yet. This is his third time. This is his third time, a repeat edger. Just a volunteer and a supporter of Special Olympics of Delaware. He's not done anything crazy. At least that's what he says. No stunts, events, hang gliding, bungee jumping, none of this. Not even the polar bear plunge. And so good to have him involved with some of the many events of Special Olympics of Delaware. As we say, the rope crew there getting Julia ready up top. Julia has actually no affiliation with Special Olympics. She's been watching the event for the last 2 years and decided it was time. And so this is her first time coming down the side of the building here at 300 Delaware Ave. As you see David Booth spinning around there on the building. And Julia Norbut now almost ready to come down. I think that what's very cool about this event is it's almost the great equalizer for a lot of people. You may be athletic, you may be savvy, you may have done this before, you may have done something similar, but when it happens, it's the great equalizer. It seems to level the playing field, and you may not be the best at it, but if you have a great time, that's what it's all about. As we see David Booth letting a little more rope out of the line there, nearly on the ground. He's at about the second story. Is another great look of how high even that is, and he is one story from the bottom. And the kids these days refer to this as just chilling, hanging right below floor number 2. He is awaiting the clearance to land, and now we'll let a little more rope out of that. As David Booth is nearly been reintroduced with the ground. A little shoulder shrug there. Kind of walking him through. You hear the text there walking him through the last couple steps of the process here. I think they want to try to get the edgers back on a two-person at a time schedule. Maybe not. Julia's now starting to get ready to go up top as David continues. And there's a look at Julia, who's on that blue rope, the right side. Pardon me, the left side. Directions are backwards. So David is still kind of working his way down, nearly on the ground. And about 2 feet now. There he goes. And David Booth has made his way all the way down. Booth, nice wave there into the camera, thumbs up. As his pursuit and journey down have come to an end. And about to begin the trek for Julia Norbut. Final checks here, a couple more things to give them in terms of words of advice or encouragement. Remember to send your tweets. We'll read them on the air. Tell us where you're watching. Use hashtag OverTheEdgeDE. Or you can always email if you're not on the Twitter machine. info@sode.org. Let us know your name, where you're watching from. We want to find out where the over 1,100 people from across the country have been watching from so far here today. And a big thank you to everybody who has tuned in here today. As you see Julia, that's now she's got it. The smile has begun, and so has the descent. Julia Norbut is ready to come down. Hands are out. I guess that's just part of the trust factor, I guess. You put those arms out, look mono hands. Kind of a scary way to start this thing. Talked with some of the techs in the elevator up and down multiple times this morning. The safety checks is about 3/4 of the 3-hour setup. So, you know, they obviously get that tripod. You see the orange legs there. That is a tripod, very similar to the way we have our cameras up right now. And then a lot of it is testing of cables, testing of multiple ropes. There are so many fail-safes in this process. But you say all that, and when you get up there, it doesn't really matter. You make all these promises. You say 110% safety rate. I've talked to the techs. I was just telling everybody, as John Busby joins me again, 3-hour setup, 3.5-hour setup, 3/4 of that is testing and making sure.
Yep.
But when you get up there, I don't know if it matters.
I don't know either. I've never done it. Next year, though, apparently from everybody that's coming
Everybody's
on.
telling you.
Everybody's telling me I'm doing it. And here we have Julia Norbut going over. And so, yeah, no, I agree with you, though. I think it's like anything. And I think I use the example of zip lining that I've done at Lum's Pond. And, you know, despite not being scared of heights, despite knowing that, how safe it was, you know, Julia's up there with no hand. You know, until you actually do it. In my case, it was zip lining. In this case, until you actually lean back, you have to figure, you know, geez, what could go wrong? Unfortunately, you know, 110% safety reading, nothing has go on here. A couple things on Twitter. Tricia Kaufman, waiting for my cousin John Stocklosa to go over the edge. Can't wait to watch you. Love you bunches. Jonathan Stocklosa is the only Special Olympics athlete in the state of Delaware who has done this event. He did it once last year. He's going to do it again this year. From Danny Jackson, checking in from the Food Bank of Delaware to show our support. Over the Edge Delaware, tell Mr. Godwin that I said hi. So, again, if you are on Twitter, please send your support either to the organization or somebody in particular. Hashtag OverTheEdgeDE. Please use hashtag OverTheEdgeDE. Let us know where you're watching from. Last count, we had over 1,000 people tuned in.
Yep.
Jimmy, during my lunch break that you were so kind to take over for a little bit. I went out and was talking to some people out there, and they were just thrilled with the production. We've got this going on. People upstairs on the 10th floor are watching it as well, and so it's kind of neat for the edgers that go up there. They actually get to see the view before they get to see the view,
Yeah.
and that's never happened before. It used to be, you didn't see that view till you were on the roof, but now, thanks to your exceptional camera staff, they are able to see the different views of people.
Maybe
different
that
parts.
calms the nerves a little. I'd like to think.
I'd like to think too, but until like you've said it and we've talked about it, and neither you or I have done this event.
Nope.
And I was talking to people leading up, knowing we were going to be on the air for 7 hours, whether it would be advantageous for me to do the event and be
Right.
able to talk about it. But I actually think it has been more entertaining to hear other people's perspectives than just listening to what I went through. Not that that's all I would have talked about, but I think it's hard. I liken it to the play-by-play announcer in the NBA who's never played in the NBA.
Right.
You come from it from a very objective perspective, and that's what we're doing here today. We're watching people come down. We're watching people on the roof leaning over, looking down, and just an excellent tech crew. Several of the edgers we've had on the air have talked about how calming the techs in the Over the Edge event are. We've always had great technicians here, and we've actually heard those comments from our cohorts around the country. Several Special Olympics chapters around the country do Over the Edge events, and so they say the same thing, that the ease that the technicians put you at before you do this just makes all the difference in the world. And I can say, and I'm pretty confident this is a true stat, in the 4 years we've been doing this here in Delaware, we have never had anybody back out. In other words, you literally could back out.
That's very surprising.
You could literally back out until you're halfway, until you're on the side of the building. Once you are on the side of the building, if you panic or freeze up for whatever reason, they will lower you the rest of the way.
Right.
So you can completely stop controlling yourself, and they will do it for you. There you see Julia Norbut coming down. Justin Roth is also on there. Julia is no affiliation with Special Olympics, but she's been watching this event for 2 years and decided it was time to participate as she makes her landing. So she's an example, and I was out in the crowd a little bit, Jimmy, while we broke for lunch, and it is packed out there, which usually happens around lunchtime. And so Julie is a typical person who out there watching this, wow, what a neat thing, and got signed up. And anybody watching this or out there who wants to sign up, SODE.org, click on the Over the Edge banner, and that'll take you to the registration page for next year. We only need $50 today to secure your spot, and then you can raise money. So Julia wanted to thank the people that have supported her. Going to be people on the ground cheering her on, and she's never bungee jumped or anything, so this is the first thing that she's done, sort of anything that's that nerve-wracking. So congratulations to Julia for making it over the edge. Justin Roth is an employee at M&T Bank, and he's going over the edge. One of his big supporters was the children's ministry at the Bay Area Community Church and M&T Bank. Now, Jimmy, he's been skydiving. That's something I would never do.
Is he our first skydiver? I believe he is.
Yeah, I think he is, yeah.
There have been some
Yep,
zip
bungee
lining,
jumpers.
some bungee
Yep.
jumping. Skydiving is a different thing. In certain instances, you don't see the ground.
Right, right.
Clouds or height, or mostly clouds. In this case, in bungee jumping, you know it's there.
Right.
Sometimes it comes faster than others. But with skydiving, I don't know. I don't even like the plane flight to skydiving. I would never,
Right,
I would never
yeah.
be.
I would.
no.
The small plane scares me.
Yeah.
And I'm not afraid to fly. I've flown in hundreds of flights,
Right.
but the small plane scared me. We got something else on Twitter here from LC at Believe in Jesus. Over the Edge, watching from the Meadowwood School in Red Clay. So thank you to the Meadowwood School for tuning in. They were probably interested in watching Jane Thompson come down, and she's down and safely on the ground. In fact, I was on the air with Jimmy just a few minutes ago. So as we approach the halfway mark of this event, 12:30, coming up here for the 7-hour broadcast, and pretty much right on schedule. If you've tuned in to see people come down, we are pretty much right on schedule, as we've announced a few times. Once in a while, somebody goes sooner than later, or a little bit later. They do like to keep it moving up top, but at the same time, we want to make sure everybody gets on close to when they go over it, and we've managed to be very successful with that. So I'm going to bring in a couple more guests here to talk to them about their experience. And let's start with our first guest here. Come on here. We're going to suit her up here. She's got the green turtle shirt on. Just pop that in there and introduce yourself for us.
Well, my name is Kim Evans. I'm a first-time over the Edger here.
And how was it?
Very nerve-wracking at first.
And what made you want to come do this?
I've always done the polar bear plunge for 5 years now, and I started doing the bowling Olympian. I was a coach last year, so I just wanted to do more.
Okay. Now you're watching people come down here. This is John Stocklosa there in the Superman.
Oh, yes.
He's the Special Olympics athlete, only one in Delaware to do it. This will be his second year. He was at the reception last night, and you've done the polar bear plunge. Now you've done over the edge. Are you involved with Special Olympics as a volunteer in any way? Or?
Yes, I actually did the bowling last
you
year
just
for
said that.
Milford
I'm
High
sorry.
School.
That's right.
That's okay.
You just said that. That's great. And what was that experience like?
It was very emotional seeing the kids get their awards and everything like that. So I just, like I said, I wanted to do more. I also direct the Camp Lenape in Felton.
Oh, neat.
Yes. So Manito's up here in Wilmington, but I do the Lenape in Felton, Delaware.
Okay.
So a lot of my students do Special Olympics.
What was the scariest part of this entire process?
Definitely going the very first 5 feet.
5 feet.
5 inches, really.
Now, and Jonathan's getting ready to back over the edge here. What you see is Justin Roth finishing up his rappel. He looks kind of calm at that point. At what point did you feel like, okay, I can do this?
Well, unfortunately, my tag got stuck in the pulley, so I had to keep. I kept getting stuck.
Oh,
so
okay.
That was a little nerve-wracking.
Right.
But
you never felt unsafe. You never felt unsafe.
Not at all.
Now, we've told people they have an opportunity to sign up today for next year, May 14th, in keeping with the tradition of the second Thursday of May. They can go to the Over the Edge website on the Special Olympics website, SODE.org, and sign up for next year. My guess is a lot of people out there who are watching this live, we've had over 1,000 people, and that was an hour ago, so that number is probably even greater, tuning in to watch this. A lot of people out on the sidewalk watching, maybe some first-timers thinking about it. What would you tell somebody who's trying to debate whether or not to do this for the first time?
Just think about the kids that are doing the events. It's all about them. Put yourself out there and just raise money for the kids.
Well, thank you very much for joining us, and thank you for going over the edge.
Thank you.
And we're going to bring on Kim Bates now, who is going to set the headsets. And Kim is a veteran over the edger, and Kim is also, she teaches at the Leach School, which has a large population of Special Olympics athletes. I actually was at an event there yesterday. We had 160 young athletes between the ages of, they were between the ages of 2 and 5, I think, who participated in Special Olympics, so that's always a thrill for me. You are the mother of a Special Olympics athlete. Your son Justin, I believe, I know he was here, as well as quite a large contingent from William Penn High School.
Absolutely.
Where Justin goes. Now, here's what I think is the cool thing. At 10 o'clock, Levita Moffitt, Mrs. Moffitt, who was a teacher at William Penn High School, went over the edge. Well, they didn't come out to watch her. They waited. The bus didn't arrive until 11 o'clock to get here in time to watch you, and you don't even teach at the school. The power of your son, I guess, in that school. Talk to us a little bit about Justin's experience with Special Olympics.
Well, it's been amazing. I think it's been since kindergarten that he started with Special Olympics, and he's just grown as an individual, and then he slowly got us involved by coming to cheer him on, and he got to carry the torch, and he got to meet Jack Markell, and, he's just really has grown a lot.
Right. And your family as a whole has really become entrenched in the Special Olympics program, not even just its involvement at William Penn High School, but in the area and the community.
Right. Melanie is a unified partner. She's a junior at William Penn, and she's been selected to go to national games as a unified partner for bowling.
Oh, wow. Great.
And my husband, he's a big supporter, and my mom, and so.
Just everybody. Family affair.
Oh, absolutely.
Now, has anybody else in that family gone over the edge besides you, or
just
are you
me.
the only one?
Nobody will do
Anybody think they've drawn the line, right?
I tried to get my mom to do it, put on her bucket list, but she's like, no way, I'll just write the check.
What, you have to have some sort of bravery to do this event at all. And is there have you skydived, bungee jumped on anything like that? Or is this the one thing you would say if you were at a party, hey, what have you done that's pretty cool? This would be it.
I skydived last year for the first time.
Did you really?
But I think this is really awesome.
Yeah. Now, Jimmy and I were just talking, Jimmy Smith here from the University of Delaware is in charge of the production today. He and I were talking about skydiving is something neither one of us would ever even consider doing. Just because, this has a 110% safety rating. nobody's ever falling on over the edge, and they're not going to today.
Right.
Skydiving, unfortunately, does not have a perfect record.
Sure.
And so,
Sure.
that's something that we were talking about. That's never what we do. How does this compare to sky? Like I would think if you could skydive, this would be a piece of cake. But you've done both. What do you think?
Well, skydiving, I went tandem.
Okay.
So I had a professional behind me, and, so that was in complete control. This one, you are in control.
Right.
Even though you have somebody up top and the bottom with the ropes, you are the one controlling how fast you go down.
Right.
And so I think this one was a little bit more challenging.
Now, we've talked, and again, if you're watching the broadcast, Jonathan Stocklosa, Special Olympics athlete, he's a power lifter. You can look at him and just see how powerful he is. He benches
amazing.
almost 300 pounds. I know he deadlifts, I think, over 500 pounds.
Yeah.
Heck of a lot more than I can, that's for sure. And he's getting ready to dip down. This is his second time. He talked a little bit about at the cocktail reception last night, and so he's gotten into that. They talk about this new lever that they had this year,
right.
Where instead of squeezing, you pull up.
Right.
Was that easier, better for you? Didn't matter to you, or?
It was hard. It was
Yeah.
a little hard to get used to, but like towards the end, I got the hang of it.
Okay.
But
Now, how about physically? Because my understanding is the thing you had to squeeze really took a lot out of your forearm, but this.
my left
wasn't
arm
as
was
much.
still tired.
Still tired. That's funny.
Not shaking as bad, but it
Right.
was still tired.
Now, you've done it 3 times.
Yeah.
Is it one of those things where this time it's like, you know what? Not a piece of cake. I don't know if I'll do it again, or
No
is it just
way.
as exciting?
Just as exciting.
Yeah.
I'm ready to sign up for next year.
Well, you can.
And I'm going to try to raise $2,000 because I want that camera.
You
on my
want
head.
the video.
I want the
there
video.
You go. There you go. There you go. Yeah, if you raise more than $2,000, you get a personal video by a Special Olympics staff member does that, and it's a neat memento. So this is the first time we've streamed it online, and we've gotten a lot of viewers. And so my guess is I know you've gotten some Twitter things and people following you. So my guess is you have people that you know of who have watched this.
Oh,
online?
yeah. I sent an email out to the people at Leach to watch so they could watch me go down.
Oh, great.
They're going to be here.
Oh, good.
So.
That's great. So they were able to do it. Well, thank you very much for stopping by. Thanks for going
you're
over the
welcome,
edge
John.
for the
Thank
third
you.
year. Hopefully we'll have you on the air after your 4th one next year.
Looking forward to it.
All right, great. Thank you very much. Again, that was Kim Bates, longtime supporter of Special Olympics as a volunteer, parent, teaches at the Leach schools, involved heavily with people with intellectual disabilities. Again, this is the 4th annual Over the Edge event to benefit Special Olympics Delaware, sponsored by TD Bank and Brandywine Realty Trust. We're live at the 300 Delaware Avenue building in Wilmington. The participants in this event have each raised $1,100 for the opportunity to rappel 17 stories or 222 feet down the side of the Brandywine Realty Trust building, also known as 300 Delaware Avenue, which, according to everything I could find, is the 7th tallest building in the state of Delaware, with the Chase building being the tallest at 330 feet. Sir, your name? Justin Roth, we are happy to have you on. We appreciate you going down. You are not a repeat edger, so you're a first-timer as well.
Yeah, first-timer.
Tell me about it.
It's intense, man.
Yeah?
It's really cool. It's
Yeah?
very scary at first, but once you get going.
How did you decide to do this? Who suckered you in? Who got you to do this?
Oh, my wife.
Oh, yeah?
She had a friend who was going to do it, and she said this is really probably something that you should do as well.
Now, are you going to tell her the same thing when we get off the air? That this is something she should do? She's shaking her head no.
She is shaking her head no.
Back and forth as quickly as possible. So I get the feeling if somebody's going to do this again next year, it's going to be you.
Me, right.
Now, I'm looking over your bio you sent in, and the lady we just had on, Kim Bates, had done skydiving also, and you've done skydiving. Was it in tandem or by yourself? Or
by myself? I figure that I like it to I like to sort of have an element of control, even though it's really kind of an illusion. But
yeah, I was going to say, to me, if I'm in the air, I don't care how many people are attached to me and how professional they are, there is still some element of no control.
Right.
Unlike this event. I think it's a much more secure event. Jonathan Stocklosa. Yeah, Jonathan Stocklosa, a Special Olympics athlete, getting ready to go down. He's a veteran plunger. Next to him is Matt from the Delaware Rock Gym. And he was kind enough, the Rock Gym hosts an event for us on a couple Friday nights ago where people could go and kind of get a feel for what this was like. Did you go to that event by chance?
No, I was nervous I would back out.
Oh, really? Well, that's interesting because, they actually hold the event thinking people would become more confident and do that. But it is interesting, and I agree, having not done this myself, I agree. I might become more nervous, and it might be easier just to get up there and get it over with.
Right. That's how I prefer.
Now, people are, some people we hope are signing up today for next year already. They can go to our website at SODE.org, click on the Over the Edge banner, and already sign up for next year. I'm not asking you if you're going to do that or not. What I'm asking you is if somebody was debating that right now, as you were a year ago, as maybe your wife is for next year, what would you tell them, why they should do this?
You should do this for a couple of reasons. I would say the first and foremost is that you're helping someone in need, and it's a great cause. It really benefits. It's really great for children, which is so important to our world. The other reason is it's a lot of fun. It's an experience that you will not get a chance to do unless you were in a line of work that places you in maybe harm's way or something where you have to do this.
Right. Or window washing.
Right, or window washing, yeah. And otherwise, you're not going to get an opportunity to do something like this, and it is just... It is so incredible. There is no real way to describe it other than you have to do it. Just go over the edge.
Sounds like you might be back next year.
It was a lot of fun. I think I will be.
All right, then maybe you can talk your wife into going down.
Yeah, we'll go down tandem.
We had a lot of husbands and wives do that. Yeah, go down together. Nobody races to the bottom, but every husband I've talked to, they're determined to beat their wife down to the bottom. So anyway, listen, Justin, we appreciate you stopping by. Thank you for your support of Special Olympics Delaware, and we hope to see you back next year.
Have a great day.
All right, Justin Roth going over for the first time. Obviously, as you heard, it was a successful trip, and he enjoyed his experience. Jonathan Stocklosa on your left, and Matt from the Delaware Rock Gym on the right, McCorquodale. I only know that pronunciation because I introduced him in the script last night at the cocktail reception that TD Bank hosted. Both of these folks are veteran edgers. As you can imagine, Matt McCorquodale has a lot of experience belaying on rocks and cliffs and all types of things. And Jonathan is an experienced edger. He's in his second year. He talked about his experience last night, and he told the crowd, I asked him, I said, how do you feel when you're getting ready to go over the edge? And he responded without hesitation, nervous. And I would think that that has to be the feeling for everyone involved. So we've got Jonathan and Matt heading down the side. And again, if you're just tuning in, this is the Over the Edge event. Benefits Special Olympics Delaware provides sports training and athletic competition for 3,700 Special Olympics Delaware athletes throughout the state of Delaware. Children and adults, you can get involved in our Young Athletes program as young as the age of 2. There is no upper age limit to be part of Special Olympics. If you think this is something you'd like to get involved in, either as an athlete, a unified partner, or a volunteer coach, no coaching experience necessary. We'll train you to tell you everything you need to know. Just go to the website, SODE.org. There's a blue volunteer button at the top. Click on that and learn everything you need to know about Special Olympics. And, of course, you could also, if you're not an internet person necessarily or prefer to talk to somebody in person, you can certainly call us at 302-831-4653. So yesterday was Media Day. We thank Delmarva Broadcasting Company, longtime supporters, year-round partner of Special Olympics. Rick Jensen from WDEL, Melanie Armstrong from WDEL, Gina Paletti from WSTW, Dana McDonald from Cool 101.3, and Steve Mons, who represented Delaware 105.9 News Talk, but he's also a DJ on Cool 101.3. All went over the edge. Steve, Dana, and Melanie did it for the second time, and Rick and Gina for the first time. Rick was nice enough to donate or dedicate the first hour of his show strictly to Special Olympics. He spent the entire hour talking to myself, along with Special Olympics athletes Matt Montgomery and Phil Saxon. There's quite a view you get there looking up. That gives you some perspective. Somebody said that they came here, and we've been coming to this building now for 4 years, and it still makes me nervous every time I'm at the bottom and look up. There's just something about that view, and it's made even where I think one of the nice things today is there's not clouds going by, because I remember looking up one time and seeing clouds going by, and it just adds a whole different perspective to the experience. But anyway, those radio personalities, they've been supporters of Special Olympics for years, and they didn't just come do this event. They talked about it on the air. They had us on live in the air to drum up interest in the event, and they truly are passionate about the call. And so special thanks to Rick Jensen, Melanie Armstrong, Gina Paletti, Dana McDonald, Steve Mons, and really all the on-air personalities at the various stations in Delmarva Broadcasting Company. Most of them either have done something for us at Over the Edge or at the Polar Bear Plunge, or they've emceed our events for Special Olympics. Just it's been a wonderful year-round partnership. And again, sponsors of today's event, TD Bank, Brandywine Realty Trust, Delaware Delaware Law Enforcement for Special Olympics, Sheraton Suites Wilmington, and the Delaware Rock Gym. If you're curious about what actually happens at a Special Olympics, the best way to find out is to come out to an event. If you go to our website, SODE.org, there are a lot of events coming up all over the state that you can see. Our soccer events start next week. Skills events at schools throughout the state. I believe there's going to be 5 of them before it's all said and done next week and the following week. They take place during the school day, and so you can look on the calendar and see when you might be able to come check those out. But if you work during the week, come to the summer games, all day Friday, all day Saturday. 6 sports: track and field, swimming, tennis, bocce, powerlifting, and softball take place at the University of Delaware on June 6th and 7th. All that information is on the website as well on the summer game landing page. You'll see Jonathan Stocklosa, who is on the left there. He will actually be powerlifting at that event, and Jonathan is a serious powerlifting. Bench presses, I believe it's over 275 pounds, deadlifts 450, I think he told me one time. Just an incredible athlete for Special Olympics Delaware. And one of the neat things about Jonathan's story is that he is well known. He got a story, had his story covered on CBS News about how he's a bagger at Acme and he does different things. Katie, our intern, is nice enough to point out to me he can squat 440 pounds, bench 403, and deadlift 440 pounds. And those numbers are staggering, quite frankly, that he can do that type of thing. Jimmy's putting on the headset, and I assume it's not to tell me, Jimmy, that you can lift those kind of weights.
No. I know the numbers of some of the football guys, and that's right up there.
Yeah.
That's definitely right up there. It may not be offensive lineman, defensive lineman numbers, but that's definitely top-tier linebacker numbers, running back numbers. Those are really, really good.
Yeah, they're impressive. And,
and what's nice, I don't know, it's not about lifting, but those numbers are all in a range where he's well-developed in all the skills of lifting. So I'm not necessarily a lifting connoisseur at all, but understanding that when your numbers are near each other, then that's pretty good. You're not excelling at bench, but you can't squat anything. He's right there on pretty much everything.
Yeah, and I think one of the neat things about John's story, and I talked about this in the cocktail reception last night when right before I interviewed him, is he's such a well-rounded athlete. A lot of times to be at the level that John is at, and he is actually placed in traditional powerlifting competitions, completely separate from Special Olympics. And to be at that level, usually you've got to focus just on that sport, good, bad, or indifferent. But he swims, he plays basketball, he's played volleyball before. I mean, he's become a very well-rounded athlete, and I think that's a tribute to not only himself, but to his parents and his coaches who have made sure that he has continued to develop himself as an athlete. You can see he's not having any trouble coming down the side there along with Matt McCorkerdale.
He's athletically managing this right now.
Yeah, and that's a great angle there. You can see we talked earlier how once you reach a certain point, there is a lip to get over the foundation that separates the first floor lobby area and the second floor. And belayers at the bottom actually pull you out. You're still in control of your speed at that point, but obviously they want to make sure nobody bangs into that lip. And so that last angle was a great view of that. And so you can see Jonathan here making his second landing ever. And again, we don't have a statistic whether he's the only Special Olympics athlete in the country to ever do over the edge. We do know he is the only one here in the state of Delaware. Once again, if you're on Twitter and you want to send somebody a message, use hashtag #OverTheEdgeDE. We've had several tweets come in throughout the day, and it's been fun to watch them. Tricia Kaufman was one of them, and she was waiting for her cousin John Stocklosa to go, so we assume that she is now relieved, sitting back, watching. Maybe she'll send us another tweet that we can get out to John there. So Jonathan Stocklosa, second year, went over twice a year. John works at Acme. He's actually been there for 10 years, and he's a favorite there, not only of the adults that come in, but John loves to be around kids. If anybody that knows him knows that he loves being around kids. He's also a very accomplished photographer, and you can see there being interviewed by the MC out there. And so he
did the I can't hear you hand to the ear thing.
Yeah, John knows how to entertain. There's no question about that, and that's all part of it. So a great job by John there coming down and and making the landing. That's his father, Hank. Hank is one of our powerlifting directors, and John is actually going to the USA Games in Princeton, and so that's something that he will be part of. That's coming up in the middle of June, and it's after the Special Olympic Delaware Summer Games. And I've been to several national games and several world games, and I can tell you it's worth the experience to go there just to watch it, and it's never going to be closer than it is right now. And so it's a car ride away from Delaware, hour and a half or so, and an opportunity to go see it. See what it's all about. And Delaware will actually have a contingent of almost 100 people going in 12 different sports. Jonathan is going to go as a power lifter along with David Hill from Special Olympics Delaware. David is another very, very accomplished power lifter in Special Olympics Delaware, and so they will be part of what that's all about. So they're both heading off there. Jonathan has made the landing. We'll find out who our next two are here, and then they'll be ready, set to go. Again, we're going to have a rope check probably in about an hour, maybe 45 minutes. And at that time, we've got some neat videos we're going to show you where you'll really get a sense about what Special Olympics is all about. So I would encourage you, if you are new to Special Olympics and you've just tuned in to watch and see what this Over the Edge event is all about, that you stay tuned until our rope check and check out some of the videos that we have going on right there. So 2 more edgers getting ready to go. We're probably almost halfway through this event, and we'll find out who those edgers are. Katie's getting those together for us now, and great job again by our production staff today, led by Jimmy Smith, who you've heard off and on throughout the broadcast, and our camera operators, Jessica Filipek, Nina Raspa, Mike Winsley, and Jennifer DeLuca. 3 of them are graduating or have graduated, and Mike is the lone junior of the group who hopefully will be back with us next year. So
got some names for you.
All right, there we go.
Chuck Boyce is going to be on the yellow or gold rope, and on the blue is going to be David Hargadon.
David Hargadon. He works for TD Bank, one of the sponsors, and that's one of the neat things. TD Bank each year has had at least one, sometimes several people go over on their behalf. And so he said he's not a repeat edger, so it's a first time for him, and he's hoping to land safely. I would say that's probably a sentiment that's
everybody's
pretty
goal.
Consistent.
Land safely.
Now here's another one who has done skydiving.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and we've probably
we had 2 in the last 10 minutes. Now we had none for an hour, 2 hours.
And
run on skydivers.
Yeah,
here.
and you know, I guess it's a different sensation coming off a building tied to a rope than jumping out of a plane. And you know, at the same time, you know, I guess it's as you heard Kim Bates talk about, who's done both. You know, it's just as big a thrill, and she's all ready to sign up again for next year. So we got Chuck Boyce coming up. He's going to go down with David Hargadon.
And the good news is you can see there from the shot, the sun has come out.
There you go. The sun is out, and we escaped the rain. How it works during this event is if it is just a drizzle, they do not stop. They keep going because it's just as safe in a drizzle as it is without a drizzle. But if there is lightning or were to be lightning, they certainly would stop, or high winds. I don't believe in the 4 years we've been doing this we've ever had a delay because of weather. So we've been lucky because, you know, this time of year, Jimmy, you never know what the weather's going to do.
No, I mean, you looked at the weather forecast for today last week.
Yeah.
Great.
Yep.
Looked at it earlier this week. Yeah. There was going to be something going on in the morning, and obviously we've averted that. And today, you know, finally you see the sun come up. And you mentioned earlier the clouds, nice puffy clouds,
yeah.
and nice sun. Would have been nice. The colors would have
Good for
popped
the
a little bit
photos.
more. Photos and videos would look great. But I think you're right. It gives you a kind of a stark, almost more dramatic background as we see a pan out there of how the sky and the building are almost the same color because of the way the clouds have kind of gone away. And my favorite shot of the day has always been this. You see the technology, you see the work, and then you see their faces.
Yeah.
And you see it all kind of coming together there.
And we talked with the people I was talking to out front there for a few minutes were saying that, how much they love that camera angle. That was it was a camera angle that our executive director, Ann Gruner, talked about. And she
Yep.
knew what she wanted to see.
Yep.
And she tried to describe it. And she said, that's exactly what I was talking about. She wanted to see the expression on the face, which in most cases, at that point, they really do. They look confident. Now, they may
Yep.
not all be bubbly smiling, but nobody
No.
looks scared
No.
at that point. And I think that is because of the technology.
When their head
as
goes
well.
below where you can't see it, that's maybe where fear falls in. But we're getting them on both sides. You're getting them at the beginning, and then some of the best shots has been that free fall there, that last floor.
Right.
Smiles, and you see groups form around them, and it's really great. So this has been better than I anticipated. This has been fantastic in terms of the shots that we've gotten and everybody's excitement, and so this has been great.
Yeah, it's been a wonderful experience. We mentioned a couple times, but we know a lot of people are probably just tuning in for the first time. We believe, the first state to ever broadcast live online this entire event over the edge from start to finish. A lot of states do it. I talked to some states, and they do. They might do an interview at the bottom when they get off and pipe that to under a tent or something like that.
This is for the world to see.
This is for the world to see, and we've already gotten some nice compliments from Over the Edge USA or Over the Edge North America about it, and we're looking forward to getting their feedback as well.
We are almost we're at almost 1,300 unique people that have checked in on the stream at some point today.
Wow.
So right now it's about 120 people on watching David as well as Chuck go down.
Yeah, so there you go.
That's David hitting the ground now.
All right, so David has landed. We did get another tweet from Tricia Kaufman. So proud of my cousin John Stocklosa for going over the edge. I miss you, and we'll see you soon. So a shout-out from Tricia to her cousin Jonathan Stocklosa. Of course, Jonathan was a Special Olympics athlete who landed about 5 minutes ago. He does have Down syndrome and is one of the more accomplished athletes athletically in Special Olympics Delaware, and has quite a high profile in the news and the media, not only here in the state of Delaware, but quite frankly around the country. And so,
yeah, you mentioned that piece. We actually have it ready to play at our next rope.
That's great.
Check, so we can play that whenever we get a chance here. But obviously, we want to see the over the edge. So
people,
next break we have, we can show that to you. So we had quite a day so far. Remember, if you want to interact, just as John read a tweet, you use hashtag #OverTheEdgeDE. That's how you get John Busby to read your tweets. Hashtag #OverTheEdgeDE. Send your words of encouragement. Send your words of whatever. And wherever you're tuning in from, let us know.
And speaking of that, Nick DeCare from the Fusion Fitness Delaware. Just watched John Stocklosa go over the edge. Great job, John. Nick is a big supporter of Special Olympics. John trains at Nick's gym, and I've met Nick several times, and they've always been a big supporter of Special Olympics when it comes to equipment training, that type of thing. So good to hear from Nick. I'm not sure Nick has ever gone over the edge. Maybe John will try to talk him over the edge next year as we continue with our coverage here from the 300 Delaware Avenue building in Wilmington. There will be people going down the side of this building to at least 4 o'clock. We encourage you to come as much as we hope you're enjoying the broadcast from the comforts of home or your office.
That's what's hard about it, is you want people to come out, but you want people to be on here.
That's right. As you mentioned, over 1,300 viewers.
Yep.
We're ecstatic about that. And one of the neat things is they're not only hearing about people going over the edge and watching their friends and family doing it, they're hearing more about Special Olympics, and that's what this is all about. And, our goal when this whole thing is over, like any events we do, is not only to raise money, but it's to raise awareness about the 3,700 children and adults throughout the state of Delaware that are proud to call themselves Special Olympics athletes. We hope to maybe get more volunteers through this broadcast. Hopefully maybe some parents who are wondering if Special Olympics really is for their child will look into it and decide that it is, whether they're 8 years old, 15 years old, 30 years old, or 60 years old. Special Olympics has a lot to offer. Just got a Twitter thing come in here. From
Twitter thing?
Enya. Go Scott. DPO is with you. So coming on in with that. And so Scott's, I'm not sure if Scott, I think he's coming up. Scott Rickards.
Rickards and Dan Kelly seem to be on deck.
Yeah, so they'll be coming up here.
Up top.
And so we appreciate the tweet.
Was I right? That's what it is? I don't mean to take your job away. I think I'm understanding how this is working.
Katie Johnson from the University of Delaware has kept us on our toes all day. Not to mention she also got us lunch, which we certainly appreciated. That timing of that was critical.
More important, I think, than anything.
Takes a bow
so far today. I asked this to who was I speaking to? It was Jane
Thompson.
when you stepped away to lunch.
Yep.
This is kind of this is the way for people who don't, and we've seen this a couple times, no affiliation,
right,
to take their extreme sport love and apply it to something that not to say what they do doesn't matter, but to apply it to something that really truly matters and find that connection between outsiders, so to speak, and then those inside. And I think we've called it a great equalizer in terms of skill,
right,
but I think it's also a great equalizer in terms of exposure. It gives Special Olympics exposure to anybody. Anybody can do this.
Right.
I don't believe there's I'm sure there's health things.
18 years old. That's the one caveat. But
Anybody,
you still fall. You're older than
asterisk,
18, so
right?
that's good.
Correct. Anybody with an asterisk can do this, and I think that really expands your coverage area and expands who can be involved in this, and then, as you mentioned, who gets exposed to Special Olympics in general.
Yeah, and when we often talk about our Polar Bear Plunge, which is the other big fundraiser for Special Olympics, how, it's the one event that really does encompass a whole geography of people, and there is no age limit in the Polar Bear Plunge. There is, Jimmy brought up a great point, you do have to be 18 years old to do this, because you do have to be your own consenting adult to sign up for it. There is a weight limit. I believe it's 300 pounds is the maximum, and you must weigh at least 100 pounds. Believe it or not, there is a minimum weight limit as well. But most adults fall within that weight range. And so basically, if you want to do this, you're able to raise the money. And people who talk about, the $1,100, that's a lot of money. And there's no doubt it is a lot of money. But with a year's worth of preparation, you have an opportunity to raise that money. And that's why we would encourage you to sign up today for this event for next year. You can go on to the website at SODE.org, and you can go ahead and sign up for next year. We don't need the $1,100 today. All we need today is your $50 commitment to want to go over and do this a first, second, third, or fourth time, or next year will be fifth. And speaking of second times, just joining me right now is Jonathan Stocklosa. And Jonathan, you have landed. How did it feel?
It was fun.
It was fun?
Yep.
Had a good time?
Mm-hmm.
Now, this was the second year you did it, right?
Second year.
Was it easier this year?
Easy, hard.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What was the hardest part, do you think?
Oh,
that part where you lean back?
Yes.
Yeah, John pointing to the monitor, and I agree, John. It's hard to describe what that must feel like.
And feet.
Moving your feet. They tell you to move your feet backwards.
And
that was
my
hard.
Feet dry.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was dry and easy to come down. You seemed not to stop at all. Once you got started, you just kept going. Did it feel pretty good?
Mm-hmm.
Felt pretty good?
Yeah, my arm too tired.
Your arms got tired?
Mm-hmm.
Now, you can bench a lot of weight, right?
Yes.
How much do you bench press?
403.
403. And so if you can bench press 403 and your arms got a little bit tired, it must be physically very hard to do this, right?
Mm-hmm.
But something we've had a lot of people in here, not everybody can bench 403 pounds. In fact, we haven't had anybody sit next to me who can bench 403 pounds. So the fact that you are able to do it, but we've also had some people who are very petite people, very small people, and they were able to do it too. So it must be a lot of fun for you to want to do it again.
Yeah, I got it back in next year.
Yeah, you're coming back next year?
Mm-hmm. And my brother and two brothers.
Your two brothers are coming with you. So
Yes.
you've already recruited two more people
year.
for next year.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's great. Listen, John, thank you for being part of Special Olympics, and thank you for coming on afterwards. I'll let you go out and get all the congratulations from the people outside. We'll see you next year.
Okay, see you.
Jonathan Stocklosa, a power lifter for Special Olympics. Something tells me, as athletic as he is, he's probably got to go work out today. He's not going to count this as his workout by any stretch of the imagination. We got Scott Rickards coming down the side of the building now. Scott, as I mentioned, had somebody tweet him, and it was Go Scott from Inyaa, I-N-A-A. Is her name. A couple other tweets. Shannon Macetic. My boy Scott Rickards is getting ready to go. Go Scott from Jeff and Shannon. Also had a tweet. Gene Beck. This is from the National DS Congress. Watching for our convention coordinator, Gene Beck. Can't wait. She's a first-time edger, a long-time volunteer for Special Olympics. Works for the Down Syndrome Association here in Delaware and nationally. She is the parent of a Special Olympics athlete. She will be going down as well. So Gene Beck is somewhere in the training status right now. And you can see Scott Rickards And Dan Kelly is also going to be going down as well. Dan Kelly is the Director of Delaware Division of Gaming Enforcement after retiring from the New Jersey State Police. He works with Greg Nolt and Sue Poley, who are longtime Special Olympics supporters and event coordinators. He has actually parasailed. Dan Kelly has parasailed with his daughter. If we can get him on. We've had a bungee jumper on. We've had skydivers on. We haven't had a parasailer on. He has a favorite team. The Phillies are his favorite team, and it's because his wife, Doris, loves the Phillies, and it makes her happy whenever they win. And as somebody quoted me the other day, a happy wife makes a happy life. And so can't blame Dan for that. So here they come, Dan Kelly. That's Dan, Jimmy,
Dan
right
is
there.
the one that's furthest along. Yep, nearly. Look at him go.
Yeah, he's not
Almost
having
done.
any troubles coming down.
So Scott just took off there, lifted off. A lot of words and phrases you want to use that really don't make sense when you're going down.
Or like your free fall comment.
Free
a few
fall,
minutes ago.
not a great one, but I mean when you fall one floor, I guess it's not really that big of a deal. So Dan Kelly has made his way down. Scott Rickards, it's only just begun for him.
He's up there. And Scott says he's not, the thrill and the rush he's get when going over the edge, he's not a repeat edger, according. So this is the first time for him, according to the bio that we have on here. And he says he's bungee jumped and he's done gliding, which I assume is hang gliding in Arizona. My other wild stunts, he doesn't want to mention because he doesn't want his parents to find out. So I can understand that. So certainly here we've got Scott Rickards coming down, and it looks like you can see that technician on the right there. Looks like they're getting ready to send somebody else down as well. So we approach the 1 o'clock hour. We've been on the air for 4 hours. Jimmy Smith and his crew have done an excellent job here. If you're not familiar with Jimmy Smith, he does all the stuff for BlueHens.com, all the video, just a great job. Everything on there is fun and entertaining. I know my 5 and 7-year-old boys are Blue Hens fans, and they can't wait. Every day they make me pull up. They don't make me. I'm on it anyway. BlueHens.com and see what their favorite Blue Hens are doing. So, Jimmy, you've really you've turned the video production on its feet there at the University of Delaware, and your camera crew here, Jessica Philippek, Nina Raspa, Mike Winsley, and Jennifer DeLuca have just done a phenomenal job. We've seen them. They've switched spots on the camera. You and I haven't done anything but sit here.
Yep.
You're doing a lot more work than I am.
wanted to make sure
I'm
that some of them are people that like adventure. And Nina here to my right, she's now directing, so she's calling the shots. She's picking the camera angles. She loves heights. She's always the one that wants to go up in the bob. She's always the ones that go on top of the bob. So I'm lucky she's come around because I don't.
Right.
But she wanted to be up on the roof, and she was the one who started off at the roof. But I want to make sure everybody got a different angle and got to see all parts of it here today. Not only technically, but just got to see all the fun outside, and then also got to relax a little bit inside.
Relax, grab a bite to eat, that type of thing, and they've done a great job. The weather's hold off. If you're wondering what the weather is here, we've been blessed. It was a little drizzly at the beginning of the day, but since then it has cleared up. I'm going to pull up an update for you. It doesn't look to be much wind out there. Usually if there's any type of wind at all, the ropes move slightly. But I think we've cleared the rain and the storms and any significant wind.
Relative to what we had seen or heard or not hoped for, this may be as pristine as you can get. I mean, I believe it's gotten warmer. It was cooler in the morning, and then obviously the rain went away. I think everybody's comfortable in T-shirts out there, it looks like. I'm comfortable right now, but haven't been outside. But the rain has passed, the great sun. There's a great look up there on top, the people closest to the sun right now. But, it just seemed like today really, they're like the weather. Those that control the weather said, over the edges today, let's make it a nice day.
Mother Nature's on our side. And there you can see John Levine. He's actually handling the emceeing down there, the guy holding the microphone, and he's done a great job for us. I'm going to get the name of his company. I've got to find it, but we certainly deserve to give him a shout-out. I contacted him earlier in the week and said, hey, I wanted to ask you, instead of just playing music this year, would you mind emceeing the event outside? And he was more than happy to do it, and he's done a great job. We've got the crowd mic out there, so we've been able to listen to him, and he's done some interviewing as well as made sure everybody gets to pick their song that they want to come down to, and so he's done a great job getting that for us. You see the Special Olympics logo there. All the money we raised today, which we are hoping will be somewhere in the range of $75,000, goes to Special Olympics Delaware. And if you want more information, go to the website, sode.org. As you can see, another repeller, or edger as we call them, getting ready to go over. You see the T-shirt there, Project Unify. Project Unify is the latest initiative around the country to get high schools involved in Special Olympics, to support awareness in their schools, and really to get camaraderie between people with and without intellectual disabilities. And we have several schools across the state here in Delaware who do that. Anybody who happens to be listening and wants more information about Project Unify, whether you live in Delaware or not, just go to the Special Olympics website and you can see more about that. It looks like it's Becky Mishler.
Becky is going to be on the blue rope, and I believe our other is going to be Dawn Shoemaker.
And Becky is the mother of 2 wonderful children. One, Lauren, who is a Special Olympic athlete. She's looking forward to the thrill and adventure of rappelling. Lauren, of course, is her inspiration, and she's doing that for her and all the Special Olympics athletes. She wanted to give a shout-out to her family and friends for always being outstanding supporters in all that they do. Also wanted to her mother, hello to Mother in Indiana. Hopefully she's tuned in to the live stream here. Ginny Knapp, who has always been her #1 supporter. Love you, Mom, she said. Becky Mishler. She's thrilled to get to watch it via the live stream since she couldn't be here, and that was one of the purposes of this, is hoping, knowing that everybody knows somebody around the country who, Jimmy, no matter how supportive they are of you, of what you're doing,
right,
they're not going to get on a plane to come watch you go down the side of the building. But I guarantee you, and we've seen this, the last stats you had about an hour ago, where more than 1,300 people have tuned in. And keep in mind, folks, that's for 70 people that are going over the edge today. So you can do the math and figure out how many people are tuning in for each person. And, it is just, we're thrilled with how this has turned out. Anytime you do this for the first time, not only here in Delaware, but anywhere in the country for Over the Edge, I was wondering, and I said to my wife, geez, I said, I hope at 10 o'clock when we're 1 hour in and 6 hours to go, we're not regretting doing this. And it's actually been the complete opposite.
No, I tell you what, this is, and I know a lot of people watching on Ustream right now get that number at the bottom, and you see 121 it is right now. It's fluctuating in the 120 range. That's people watching right now. Right. The number that's more impressive, and the number that we'll use as kind of our brag number, is the number to the right, the 1,387 total people.
Right.
Because of the nature of the event, that's how many people have taken the time out to interact with us here today and see this. That's a great number.
Yeah, it certainly is. And
I know I'm saying that because I'm doing it, so to speak. But I'd like to think that you guys are happy.
Yeah.
I don't know what the number was in your head, but that's great.
Yeah, no, I had no idea what to think. But yeah, we are thrilled with it. And as you said, we don't expect anybody to tune in really for more than an hour. If you have been able to do that, it is great. But the bottom line is, most people are tuning in to see a specific person come down the side of the building, or just to get a feel for the event one way or the other. But the reality of it is a work day, and people that don't work have lives outside of work in their home, and they're not going to sit down in front of to watch anything for 7 hours, quite frankly.
Yeah.
And so we are thrilled that if you're listening right now, you were able to take a few minutes out of your day to see a little bit more about this event. Again, it benefits Special Olympics Delaware, SODE.org. 3,700 athletes statewide participating in 20 sports year-round. You see someone up there with their arms spread out wide. I'm going to guess it's a veteran.
That's Becky Mishler, who's one of the ones that's raised quite a bit of money here today, according to the sheet that I have. She's getting a little special extra video here today, according to the sheet that I looked over your shoulder, John.
Yeah.
And then Dawn Shoemaker's the other one.
And Dawn is a repeat edger, and she owns DMS Solutions. She's looking forward to the view and the experience. And a lot of people say that the second time that they go over, they really plan to enjoy it. Not that they don't enjoy it the first time, but it's got to be nerve-wracking at the first time you do this. And Norm Dagg was on about an hour ago, and he's done it twice now, and he said it's just as nerve-wracking the second time.
Yeah.
But just about
I don't know when it ever becomes old hat, as I'm sure the phrase I've heard earlier today. I don't think it ever becomes that, to where it becomes enjoyable. I think it's always not natural enough to be nerve-wracking.
Yeah, I would think no matter how many times you've done it, you are nervous driving to this building the morning of the event or the afternoon of the event if you're going over in the afternoon. I just think that has to be a natural way that people react. And, we had a couple people tell us, both on the air and off the air, that one of the best things they did today was keep themselves busy until it was time to go over the air, or over the edge.
This is probably one of the best shots we've seen here today. As the clouds have cleared out a little bit, you see a great reflection because the sun's finally out. You see height. You get your logo there in the sign, Mr. Busby.
There you go. There you go.
See the building in the reflection, and then you see two people at just a small part on the side of that building. But that's what today's all about. It's supporting Special Olympics through coming down a building.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it is. And special thanks, speaking of logos, to our sponsors, TD Bank and Brandywine Realty Trust. Without them, we just couldn't do this event possible with their financial support, their logistical support, and it's just been an incredible team effort between Special Olympics and TD Bank and Brandywine Realty Trust since this event started 4 years ago. It's not a simple event to run because of the logistics, because of the safety measures. As you saw, the number of ropes that are involved in this, main rope, back up to the backup rope, things that go on here. And it took a lot of time for not only for the organization to decide, yes, we were going to take on this event, but then, okay, once we do take on this event, we got to find a building. And we got to find a building that's willing for us literally to come in and take over the building literally for a day. You can imagine we had a couple people talk about how it was neat to be coming down the side of the building and you see people, you look in and there's office people working. And so, there is that part of it as well. We always joke about, we wonder how many people, the rope has always been on the exact same pane of windows, for lack of a better word, and how many people don't even bother coming to work today who are in those things because
they see those first 2 feet hit the glass and they go,
time to go home.
It's that day.
So it is just a thing. So special thanks to Larry Meister and his staff here at Brandywine Realty Trust who have literally, like I said, allowed us to come in and take over. Becky Mishler and Dawn Shoemaker making their way down there. The DJ company, as I mentioned, John Levine, the Great American Party Company. And so shout out to him. Thanks to Katie for getting me that information. And John had been here in past years and just done an incredible job. I remember the first time that he emceed. I don't think he's been here all 4 years, but I know he was here last year. He might have been here the year before. And what a difference a great DJ makes in an event. And we added on the responsibility. The voice you hear in the background over Jimmy and I is John. And he's talked as much as I think I have.
Yeah.
And so, he hasn't had a break. I don't even think he got a lunch break. I know he ate, but I don't think he got to walk away like I did and really catch my breath thanks to Jimmy coming on. But, so John, we want to make sure people know Great American Party, DJ John Levine just done a superb job for us today, above and beyond the call of duty of a DJ. I said to him out there, he said, you just want me to have fun with it? And I said, yeah, do it like you would do a wedding. Well, when you DJ in a wedding, you don't walk around and interview people.
Right, yeah.
And you don't have to coordinate, other than the dance that the bride and groom are dancing to, you don't have to coordinate the music to 74 different people.
Yeah, that's right.
So.
Everybody brought their own. We had both Kims that you interviewed there a little bit ago. They both liked Pharrell, so he got to play Pharrell for both of them. But other than that, everybody's been kind of ranging. He had to have a lot of different kinds of music, and then already one touch of a button away.
Yeah, so just a great job by John Levine from Great American Party Company. So as I mentioned, we are here. It's 1 o'clock, or a little bit after 1 o'clock. So we've got
we're just motoring along.
I have to say, Jimmy, it has gone fast, and I think a big part of that is the number of people that were willing to come on and have come on during the day. It's kept hopefully in your eyes, kept the broadcast fresh. If you've been tuned in throughout the day and allowed you to learn not only about Special Olympics, but a little bit more about what it's like to rappel 17 stories, 222 feet, or if you are one of those exact people, it's 221 feet, 6 inches. So
I think if you're talking about coming down a building, you round up. You always round up.
There you go. We have a tweet that has come in from Smart Search Media. Good luck, Chuck Boyce from Smart Search SEM, watching live from Toronto, Canada.
We've gone
abroad. We've gone abroad. So there we go. And we've got Becky has landed, big smile on her face, and you can see she's getting videoed there. Becky is one of the ones that has raised more than $2,000, I believe. And with that amount of money, you actually get your free video done for you. And they actually do the video from the time you check in till the time you land, as you saw a member of the Special Olympics staff in the background there taking her final video. And Still up on the rope that somebody came down with Becky is Dawn Shoemaker, making her way down on the building. And, we've reiterated, Jimmy, a couple times, it doesn't matter how fast you go. Nobody, I've done, again, this for 4 years. I've never had anybody say, well, you didn't come down fast enough or you came down too slow. And, I think that's because even the people who do this event and do it with ease, they respect the people who are scared to do it or struggle to do it. And I think, you and I have been chattering all day. Neither one of us has done this.
No.
I apparently am doing it next year. Couldn't convince my wife to go with me.
I hope you do.
I think
I have a feeling you won't.
No, I'm trying. I think I've got enough people.
I'd like to think the same amount of people that told you you're going to do it this year, last year, is the same group this year. And you still found a way out of it. You still found a way out of it.
Well, I am committed. It's funny because I was down.
Don't you dare say you're committed to do too much. Ruth did it.
That's right. No, yeah, Ruth did it without a question. Yeah, well, and I gave up my spot for Ruth, and that's people don't know how generous I am. And the year before that, I gave up my spot because another colleague, Cheryl, wanted to do it with her daughter Sarah, who is on the list this afternoon, and I'm going to have Sarah come in and congratulate her on coming down. And but I gave up my spot. I literally had signed up. This is a true story. I literally had signed up, started my fundraising page, and I had about $100 raised toward the $1,100 because the staff members for Special Olympics, they raised the money too to do it. And that's when Cheryl had found out her daughter Sarah was going to do it, and they wanted to do it together. And so we tried not to hog the spots as staff. And so I generously gave up my spot and did the same thing for my friend Ruth this year. So, but next year I do think I will head down. I've convinced enough media people to do it, and I go on the air with them and we start talking about it, and they assume I've done it before. But
you were hitting me with it pretty good, and then you didn't do it.
And here's that's Jean Beck. You're looking at a longtime volunteer, parent of a Special Olympics athlete, and she got a shout out from somebody. I'm trying to find it on our Twitter feed here earlier, wishing her luck. There it is, the National Down Syndrome Congress, watching for our convention coordinator. So Jean's a little bit on the busy side, but managed to take out time out of her day to go over the edge for Special Olympics, and they can't wait to watch her from all over. So again, if you're on Twitter and want to send us a tweet, Betty Shell just did, Special Olympics Delaware, go Faye Adcox. Our superwoman Faye will be coming up later on. Let us know where you're from if you're tweeting from afar, and send us, if you aren't on Twitter, you can certainly email us at info@sode.org. Just put your name and where you're watching from, and we will get you on the air. And we're happy, as we said, we had somebody calling in from Canada earlier on. And that's, of course, where Over the Edge is located. That's where their headquarters are.
This is actually Faye right here.
Ah, there she is. So Faye got the shout out just in time, getting ready to go over. And Jean is going to be going down with her. Faye said this is her first step over.
Huh.
So she's getting ready to step backwards, looking forward to the challenge. She wanted to thank her fundraisers, Results by Doug Fitness Family, Morgan Dean, and Craig Warrington. She has done the plunge before, and she's a Tough Mudder, and her next race is next week, the Savage race. She's going to come down to Meatloaf's Bat Out of Hell. So Faye Adcox getting ready to come down, and she's going to be coming down with Jean Beck. We mentioned she's heavily involved in Special Olympics. Jean, I've worked with her on a couple committees, and she's one of those people, Jimmy, when you need something done, you need it done right, you call Jean. And she figures it out.
Well, those are always the good people to have around.
Or she puts you in touch with somebody
who does.
Who will figure it out.
Sometimes that's a very noble thing to do.
Exactly.
Sometimes being the most right is knowing that you may be the most wrong, but knowing who is the most right.
And knowing Jean, I already knew this, but when we asked the question, have you done anything, wild stunts or events like that, she generally likes to fly under the radar, and that's Jean. As much as she does, she rarely takes credit for it. She likes to live a quiet life, but avoiding the spotlight. So this is way out of her comfort zone. And so she's not scared of heights. I do know that because I asked that question. But being out of her comfort zone in the respect that she's getting ready to plop over the side of a building and make her way down in front of what is a very large crowd outside, not to mention the hundreds of people watching this live around the country, and now we can say around the world, since we have that tweet from Canada.
We are approaching 1,500.
There we go. So 1,500.
That's quite a few people
that have tuned in today. And so, it is funny. You don't think about it, but then you do think about it. A lot of these people have never been on TV or been on the radio or been in the spotlight, and it's kind of nerve-wracking enough to know you're in front of I don't know if we have hundreds outside, but certainly close to 100 people watching you come down, and then you add to the fact, that, hey, you're basically on TV.
Yeah.
And because this day and age, just as many people, if not more, watch the Internet than watch TV.
Yeah.
In fact, it's safe to say we could be live on CBS today, and probably more people are watching it than they would because they have computers in their offices.
Right,
you don't
absolutely.
have CBS in your office.
Yeah, and then obviously, the Ustream, the provider we're using today, has an app on your iPhones, iPads, and your Android devices. It is free. This costs you absolutely nothing. So check them out. Ustream is the provider. Check out their app and check out the channel. Search Special Olympics Delaware to find where we're at on there. So if you want to take it with you on the go, you want to get the iPad app, do that, and that way you can watch it wherever you're going.
Now, we just saw the person on the left start over and looked like she sat down on the side of the wall.
Yeah, that's Jean, I'm pretty
Jean?
sure.
Okay. Now,
yeah.
I can honestly say, and I'm not always looking up when I'm out emceeing, but I can honestly say I have never seen that happen.
It's either one extreme or the other. Right. It's either extreme comfort or discomfort.
The opposite. But you know what? She popped right back up.
Ready to go.
And she's ready to go. And as everybody we've talked to has said, the worst part is now over. Because you have put your life in the hands of your rope handlers and the secured rope, and you've taken that step back, and you're safe. And so she's on her way down, and I'm really hoping we can get her in here. Katie's within earshot. She's giving me the nod. Katie's done a great job getting people in here for us.
Oh, they've just been back to back to back.
And it's been great. It's been great.
This is the longest I've been on for a while.
Yeah.
That's quite all right.
So it's great having somebody to chatter with. It's like a play-by-play broadcast. Yep. So sometimes you can do a basketball. All right, there's let's interrupt my jargon there. That's Matt Montgomery. That is Jean's son, who is in Special Olympics. And it's what's fun for me is Matt's a member of our pool, and so we're in the pool and he's in there. And I tell you what, Jimmy, he swims better than half the kids in that pool, and by half I mean the half that are older than he is. And it is just amazing, and that's because of Special Olympics. He's a swimmer in Special Olympics. That's where he learned how to swim. And I want to read what Jean talked about. For my son Matthew, that's why she was doing this, who takes life with such ease and confidence, with no preconceptions of people or life. He loves unconditionally and he forgives generously. Special Olympics Delaware is an important outlet for him to participate, personally excel, and engage socially. And that engage socially part is the part that a lot of people don't understand for our Special Olympics athletes. They become they have this outward personalities about them that they establish from the confidence that they get from being part of Special Olympics. And we just had Jonathan Stocklosa on earlier. Those of you who might have missed Matt Montgomery was on early this morning talking about his experience. In fact, we might try to get Matt Montgomery back on the air if we can at some point. He's volunteering, taking people up and down, but if we can pull him away. Matt did such a great job talking about Special Olympics. And, as Jimmy and I have both said, most of you that are tuned in right now weren't tuned in this morning, so I'd love for you to hear Matt. But Jonathan Stocklosa, the big powerlifter, the guy who can bench press more than 400 pounds, he didn't like to talk.
No.
And he's a shyest guy you'll ever be around. But he got on this broadcast and was talking to hundreds of people around the world.
Yep.
And that's because of Special Olympics and the confidence that Special Olympics has given him. And
well, John, you saw him when he hit the ground. He did the I can't hear you. The hand to the ear. He played it up. He yucked it up.
Yep.
And you're absolutely right. You just did something that some people could seem or think is just improbable and impossible. And there's no way I'd ever do that. And he did it, hits the ground, and the first thing he thinks to do is play to the crowd.
Play to the crowd. And a lot of times he'll flex. He might have flexed, and we just didn't see it on camera. But last night he was at the cocktail reception. And he was up on stage, and I was talking to him. And again, great. John would have never gotten on that stage 5 years ago.
Yeah.
No way in heck he would have gotten up in front of anybody. And there he is. He gets up on stage and is talking to the crowd and telling them about his experience and answering my questions and ad-libbing a little bit. And then I thought we were done, and all of a sudden he hands me back the microphone and basically shoos me off the stage and starts taking his shirt off. And he puts the Superman Clark Kent sunglasses on, and he just whips out the Superman shirt shirt there. That looks like Jean. Jean Beck. Yep, that is Jean. She made the landing there. And she came down with Faye. And Faye and Jean, you watched come the entire way down. And so they made it. We're going to get Jean to come in and talk to us once she catches her breath. My guess is her first hug will be her son Matthew. You can see there on the left. And Jean was one who raised more than $2,000. And we've got the video crew there from Special Olympics capturing this entirety. As I mentioned, the cost to do this fundraising event is $1,100. I would say the majority of people who are here today, the 70 people, have raised more than that $1,100.
Now, is there a significance to the, rather than being 1,000, is there a significance to the 1,100?
Well, to be quite honest with you, we raised it to $100 so we could do the live stream. And we wanted this to, we felt this was such a big part of what this event could be, and it has proven to be that we wanted to be able to provide that for our rappellers. And you know, before we made that decision, we put it out there to a couple veteran rappellers, and they basically said it's a no-brainer. You know, basically what you're going to provide, I have to raise another $100, which I'm not trying to downplay $100, but you know, it means I got to get a few more people to give me $20, and then I can send this out, and people all over the country and all over the world can watch me do it. It's a no-brainer, and so you know, it really was a neat thing that we've been able to do, and look forward to doing it in the future. But the $1,100 all goes to Special Olympics Delaware. Stays right here in the state of Delaware. Another neat thing about it: 3,700 children and adults with intellectual disabilities going over. Participating in 20 sports year-round. Big summer games coming up. We have 5 soccer skills events in 5 different high schools around the state of Delaware in the next couple of weeks. You're looking at Melanie Blanco. Melanie, here's a unique story about Melanie. Her grandparents, Barbara and Winnie Spence, are longtime supporters of Special Olympics. They were the inaugural members into the Delaware Special Olympics Hall of Fame. They have been involved in Special Olympics since, I believe it's 1970. And I hope somebody who knows the fact, who's listening for real, will let me know that. But I know it's been since the early 1970s that they have been involved in Special Olympics. They do not have any children with intellectual disabilities. I do not believe they have any relatives with intellectual disabilities. They are just two of the kindest, pure-hearted people you are ever going to meet. Winnie has gone over the edge. I believe he was the age of 86 when he went over the edge. He's done it twice, I believe. He was not able to do it this year because of a hip injury. Wanted to. Winnie wanted to go down, but we decided it would be in the best interest of his health for him not to. But that's the kind of person Winnie is he was willing to do just about anything for Special Olympics Delaware. His wife, Barbara, a big supporter. They've been part of this organization, as I mentioned, since the early 1970s. They have been at more Special Olympics events than anybody ever, and I can safely say that, having been here for 25 years. I can count literally on one hand how many major events they have missed in the 25 years that I've been here. And I know they were involved almost 20 years before that with the same passion. But anyway, this is their granddaughter. This is their granddaughter, Melanie, and she has become entrenched in Special Olympics. She was a cross-country runner. I believe she went to Towson University, so she's very athletic. Became entrenched in Special Olympics. She teaches special education students at Cedar Lane Early Childhood Center. She runs our Young Athletes program for the MOT area. And so it is neat to see a third generation of Spences stay so entrenched in Special Olympics. And so, you know, I wanted to give a shout out to Barbara and Winnie Spence for their commitment to this organization and obviously this event. They got here at 6 o'clock this morning when I did. And so they've been upstairs volunteering all day, and we're here all day yesterday. And this is their granddaughter, Melanie, who's getting ready to go over the edge. And I know she has gone over the edge before. This is her third year going over the edge. And we're going to bring in Faye Adcox from Wilkinson's Marketing Services. Faye just landed, as we like to say. And Faye, get a little bit closer here so we can go ahead. I'll let you put your own headset on. And we're glad you were able to join us, Faye. It means you made it down safely your first time, correct?
Correct.
And would you do it again?
Oh, I'm ready to go again.
Ready to go. You know, it's funny. We've had people say that, and I joked to the event director outside, and I said, you know, I wonder if we have an opportunity for people, you know, we have some slots open, if we could say, hey, you know what, for $500 you can go do it again. How many people would do it? Tell me about the experience.
It was incredible. Actually, I wasn't as nervous as I thought I was once I got up there. Yeah, was really surprised. Once I sat back, they were really good at, making you comfortable, and they were talking to me and everything, and so it was incredible.
Now, here we have somebody going over getting ready to go over the edge, and you probably remember that point. Was that the most difficult, nerve-wracking part?
Actually, once I started leaning back, it was, let's go.
Piece of cake, ready to go.
Let's go. It was getting up there to do that part.
And that's Joseph Ty, as you see on your monitor, who is getting ready to go over the edge. At what point, Faye, did you feel completely relaxed? Like, okay. I mean, I assume even though once you've leaned back, you're still not at the bottom, so
right.
It's got to be a little nerve-wracking. Was there a point halfway, or was it not until you literally got to the bottom that you felt completely relaxed?
Actually, I felt really relaxed as soon as I got, where they're stepping off. And then about halfway, I got a little nervous again.
And what was it that made you nervous? Just the fact that you weren't down yet, or did you lock up? Did you lock up?
No, nothing locked up. It's just that you're sitting there and you're looking around, and it's like you're still moving, and it's like, okay, we're not quite there yet. And then you get worried that something might not work right.
Right, yeah, I guess, the panic sets in.
Right.
Not the panic, but,
right.
it goes back to until I'm on the ground, I'm still high enough I could get hurt.
Yeah.
And so even though nobody's ever gotten hurt doing this event anywhere in the world, we always like to reiterate that as we're trying to get people to sign up for the first time.
Of course.
What has your affiliation been with Special Olympics? I've seen you're a polar bear plunger. Have you volunteered for Special Olympics or been a financial supporter?
I do like the plunges and things like that.
Great. And what or who made you decide to come up or come here and do this today?
Actually, Petch from Eagle 97.7. He's a friend of mine, and he said that somebody needs to do it. We have a whole fitness group that we work out.
Oh, that's great.
So I was talked into it.
When I was on the radio with Petch the other day, he mentioned to me that somebody he knew, and he did say, Faye, now that you say it, it's all coming back, was coming up to do it. And that's a great example of how this event grows. It's people like Petch who did it.
Right.
He was a media member who did it for Eagle 97.7. We don't require our media people to raise the money. We do it as a thank you for them, advertising the event for it. Petch raised the money to go over. He got the $1,000 in sponsorship, which is what it was last year, and did it. And I know he's ready to do it again.
Yes, he is.
And so,
actually, a bunch of us are from the fitness group are talking about doing it next year.
And that's awesome. And that's how this event grows. We've been talking is how do we need to get this event to grow bigger and bigger and bigger. We'd love to add a third rope. And it is people like yourself who get talked into doing it by somebody who did it, and then you go out and you find a couple more people to do it again.
Right.
So,
yeah.
Faye, listen, thank you very much
you.
for supporting Special Olympics, not only here but in the Polar Bear Plunge. And I hope we have you on next year to talk about your second experience.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Faye, for stopping by. All right, Faye Adcox there, another great example of somebody talked into going over the edge. You see Melanie Blanco and Joseph Ty coming down. We've talked a little bit about Melanie already. Joseph Ty, this is the second year he's gone down, and he just loves being part of Special Olympics, raising money, similar to Faye. Not a volunteer, at least not yet, not a coach, anything like that. He just likes to do this kind of thing for a great cause. Wanted to recognize everybody who donated to his webpage and thank him for his support. He's a hiker. He's hiked Mount Washington for the second. He's going to hike it for the second time coming up this summer. And last summer he hiked the 4-day, 3-night trek to Machu Picchu. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but in Peru via the Inca Trail through the Peruvian Andes Mountains. So he's hiking up and down the building right now. And if we're able to get Joe on later, we'll ask him the difference between hiking in the mountains and scaling down the side of the building. So right now, Joseph Ty, Melanie Blanco, back on the side of the roof. And joining me for the second time, but probably for the first time for most of you tuning in right now, is Matt Montgomery. Matt, welcome back to the broadcast.
Yeah, thanks, John. Thanks for having me.
No, our pleasure. I was telling somebody, Matt did such a great job, and Jimmy and I have been talking about how in this type of broadcast, people tune in and they tune out.
Right.
They come on the air, they want to see somebody in particular go over, and so they see them, and then they duck out and go do whatever they were doing during the day. And so you did such a great job this morning. I wanted to bring you back on. Let me first ask, have you seen Kayla Miller in the building yet?
I have. I just escorted her upstairs a few minutes ago.
Okay, so Kayla's on her way up. I know Kayla Miller's going to come on the air afterwards with us.
Cool.
Those of you from Delaware certainly know who Kayla Miller is. Those of you not from Delaware, Kayla Miller was the star point guard on the University of Delaware women's basketball team last year, which in a lot made the Sweet 16. Of course, teammates with Elena Deladon, and a lot of people think might have been the most exciting team in the state of Delaware in any sport, any level in the past several years, and we're thrilled Kayla is going over the edge. She actually wanted to go over the edge last year, but because she was still part of the basketball team, was not able to do so. So we're excited Kayla is going to be here today, and we will make sure to get her on. And Matt, I know you're a big fan of Kayla's.
Of course.
And, who's not, right?
Yeah.
And, you've run into Kayla in the Blue Rocks game. So you took her up, and I'm sure she was thrilled to have you take her up. And what's she feeling like?
She felt pretty excited, maybe a little nervous.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think she'll do an awesome job.
Now, what you guys talk about on the way up? Basketball? Did you talk about the Blue Rocks? She, of course, is the famous souvenir salesperson for the Blue Rocks.
We just talked about over the edge. I was asking her if it was her first time.
Right. Now, the people that you've been taking up in the elevator, what has been the sense of their feeling? Are most of them nervous? Are most of them calm, or a little bit of both?
I think it's a little bit of both.
Yeah.
You know, it depends on who I ask.
Yeah, different people, different things. Now, have you walked anybody down? Like, do you escort them back down, or do you see people after they go over the edge?
I see them a little bit after they go. I'll take them back upstairs.
Right, and then so they're probably a little bit more relieved at that point.
Right.
I would
Yep.
think.
Yeah.
All right, now Matt, you've got you're hanging out with us today. We appreciate that. You're in the middle of a busy season. What sport are you practicing right now for Special Olympics?
Right now, I'm practicing for the swimming for the Summer Games next month, June 6th and 7th, on a Friday, Saturday, down at the University of Delaware.
Okay, part of what's going to be the 44th annual Summer Games. You see Melanie Blanco. She has landed. Melanie, again, a third generation in the Spence family to volunteer for Special Olympics. We'll try to get Melanie on here when she gets her gear off. Matt mentioned the Summer Games for Special Olympics Delaware, June 6th and 7th at the University of Delaware. Events going on in 6 different sports all day, Friday and Saturday. Great way to come out and learn about Special Olympics. The opening ceremonies has been at 7 o'clock for the past 43 years. This year, Matt, it's going to be at 5 o'clock. We bumped it up a little bit earlier. That's when the Flame of Hope will complete its 160th mile as part of the torch run. We're also hoping that earlier time will encourage families to stay, because competition ends at around 3 o'clock Friday,
Right.
Matt, right?
Yep.
You're out of the pool by then. And I guess it's probably very tempting at that point just to go home.
Yeah, sometimes. It depends on how many races I've had and it depends on how I feel.
Yeah, and, what events are you doing for the swimming?
I'm doing a 4x50 medley relay. I'll be doing the breaststroke. I'm also doing the 100 individual medley, which, for those who don't know, is breast, fly, free, and back all in the one race, and then 50 free and 50 butterfly.
That's great. And you practice once, twice a week? How many times?
Once a week down at the Walnut Street Y down here at downtown.
And how long do your practices last?
Anywhere between an hour and 15.
So you must be in pretty good shape. That's a long time to swim.
Yeah, it is.
I'm good in the pool for about 10 minutes, and that's chasing my kids around. Listen, Matt, we don't want to hold you up. We know you're volunteering today. You got things to do. We're going to bring on some other edgers. I appreciate you stopping by. Matt, you truly are what Special Olympics is all about. You're a great guy. You love to do the sports. You love the social part of Special Olympics, and we appreciate you taking the time. You were yesterday on with WDEL with Rick Jensen, and he told me what a great job you did. I saw the photos you posted on Facebook. Great job. You managed the Facebook page for SOD Wilmington. So I'm looking forward to your comments later on when you get back under your Facebook about your experience today. Thank you very much, Matt, for being here.
John.
All right, we'll talk to you later.
Okay.
All righty, Matt Montgomery, what Special Olympics is all about. And we've got some more edgers up there as we approach the 1:30 hour, about 2.5 hours left to go. And I think we have Joe Ty here. Is that Joe standing by? Scott Rickards, actually. Scott Rickards. Scott, come on in. Looking forward to talking to Scott Rickards here. Scott has landed. He's actually already gone back up. He's got his gear put back together. And so Scott Rickards has landed. here to come on the air with us and talk about his experience with Special Olympics. Scott, this your first time going over?
It sure is.
Sure time. Okay, so first time going over. What was the experience? Was it everything you thought it would be? A little bit more nerve-wracking than you thought it would be? How'd it go?
I tell you what, it was a lot better than I thought it would be.
Really?
Yeah.
And a lot better the view, or just not as nerve-wracking? Or
I tell you, I had high expectations, and it certainly surpassed them.
Oh, wow.
Just by going over that edge and looking down, and, the Wilmington looks a little different from that vantage point, I bet.
Well, it's funny. Somebody yesterday, Rick Jensen, did it for WDL, and he went on the air when he got down on his show, and he said, you know what? He said he'd recommend raising the $1,100 just to go up on the roof and look around.
Absolutely.
He thought it was a neat thing. Now, what is your affiliation with Special Olympics? Have you been part of it as a volunteer or come out and raise the money?
Sure. Well, my neighbor, Tyler Kennedy, grew up with her.
I know Tyler.
I grew up with Tyler.
Yep.
Good friends with the family, Tim, Ryan.
Oh, great.
And just kind of come out here, support Tyler, and just enjoy all the festivities.
That's great. Well, you did it for the first time. We've been telling people throughout the broadcast. We have actually already set up the registration for 2015. Anybody that's watching this live online, and we've had actually almost 1,500 people tune in at some point today from around the world. If you're interested in getting involved in this, they go to SOD.org, click on the Over the Edge banner. It takes you to a web page where you can click to sign up for 2015. Those people out there wondering, sort of on the fence, so to speak, or maybe on the edge of whether I should do this or not for the first time, what would you tell them?
Oh, absolutely. You have to. Even if just do it.
That's great. Well,
and
listen,
you will be back, I guarantee you.
Well, we hope that means you'll be back. And
certainly.
Scott, we appreciate you coming by. Appreciate your support in Special Olympics. Thanks for going over the edge for Special Olympics Delaware. Scott Rickards, taking the headset off, going to go home and relax probably a little bit more tonight than he was before. Becky, we've got Becky here. Becky has just landed also. She was upstairs and got her stuff gathered back up. We'll ask her to come man the headsets here. Becky Mishler, whose daughter is in Special Olympics, I believe. I talked about that on the air. And we'll get the headsets on. Becky, you can adjust them however it's comfortable for you. Becky, you were a first-time over-the-edge person today, I believe, right?
Yes.
And how was the experience for you?
Oh, I don't know if I can explain it. It was just awesome.
Yeah.
Absolutely awesome. I've been looking forward to it. Amazing. I loved every minute of it. And when I got down, it was like, it's already over? I want to go again.
You're about the third person that has said that recently.
Yes.
Was your daughter here to watch you? Yeah.
Yes, her.
Was she nervous?
Not at all. I don't think so. But her and one of her teachers and a few of her schoolmates came.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Oh, that's great. And we gave a shout out to your mother in Indiana,
yes.
Right? Do I have that state right? The Hoosier State?
Yes, that's right, the Hoosier State. She's in Indiana. All of our family is in Indiana except our son. He's in Kentucky.
There you go.
Which we lived for 17 years
and
moved here 3 years ago. And 3 years ago I said, I'm going to do this.
There you go.
And here I am today.
And it sounds like you maybe have not done it for the last time from your reaction.
Maybe not for the last time. I would like to do it again, but I think next year I'm throwing my husband over the edge.
There you go. The challenge has been put out as we watch a couple people get started on their rappel this afternoon. You can see Lynette Molnack starting her descent. Melissa Renzi Justice also heading over the side of the building. So having done it now, Becky, what would you tell somebody home debating whether or not they should try this or not?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It's a thrill. It's exciting to just see out all over the city and be coming down, and you just I don't know how to explain it. Just the
I
excitement.
think you've explained it very well.
The excitement inside is just it's something. It probably is different to everyone, I know, but.
And tell me about Lauren, right?
Yes.
That's your daughter, Lauren.
Yes.
What sports does she participate? How old is she? What sports does she participate in? And what has Special Olympics meant to your family?
Okay. She is 21. So she is graduating this year from the Life Skills and Community Program.
At what school?
At Appoquinimink High School.
Yep.
And she is she played soccer. She does the basketball skills through the school, Special Olympics,
right.
And field and track, or track and field.
Right.
those are the three main things that she does. And we were thrilled to death to find Special Olympics up here because we moved here, as I said, from Kentucky 3.5 years ago, and she was very involved with a lot. Well, we lived there for 17 years, so she had a lot of typical peers, very involved in a lot of other things, and Special Olympics gave her that here,
That's
whereas. I mean, otherwise, if we wouldn't have gotten her involved, she's a very social person. Everyone knows Lauren. Every place we go, they say, "Oh, Lauren." We have no idea who they are, but they know who Lauren is.
That's neat.
And she needs it, and it helps. It just has helped keep her on the healthy side, social, and all that. We couldn't be more thankful. We do have Special Olympics, of course, in Kentucky, but she really wasn't that involved in it. There were other things she was involved in. So this was great.
Well, that's a great story. Becky, thank you for being part of not only Special Olympics, part of today's event, and giving back. You know, there's nothing that talks about the importance of the organization to families than when family members themselves participate in events like this. So thank you very much, and we hope to see you back if you or your husband back next year.
Well, maybe both of us.
I was going to say maybe he'll go if you go again.
Yeah,
there
that's
you go.
right.
So it won't be the first time that's happened. Thank you very much, Becky. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, Becky Mishler has a great experience, first-time experience coming down over the edge, and you've heard that several times today. And as you see, two people coming down, second-year edger, Melissa Renzi Justice coming down, and Lynette Molnak coming down also. That's her first time rappelling. Lynn coming down for the first time, and Melissa for the second time going over the edge. Melissa's inspiration is J.J. Reilly, who loves going in as a polar bear for Special Olympics Delaware. She came down to My Way by Frank Sinatra. Lynn Jeanette, her favorite song was Let's Get It On by Marvin Gaye. She's a polar bear plunger also and a veteran in several runs throughout the state of Delaware. So it looks like based on they both did it for JJ, and so they are obviously friends, Lynette and Melissa, and one of those situations where Melissa, as a repeat edger, probably encouraged Lynette to go along with her. And as you just heard Becky talk about going to get her husband to go over with her, that's how this event continues to grow year after year. A couple tweets going in. Our own cameraman Mike Winley tweeting a picture. We're way up here in Wilmington, so Mike is on the camera on the roof right now. Rent has tweeted, "Good luck, Chuck Boyce," from the team at Smart Search. SEM, watch Over the Edge live here. They've got it on here, getting it out to their people. And so thank you very much from Betty Shell, Special Olympics. Go Faye Adcox. Our Superwoman Faye was on just a little bit ago. So keep those tweets coming in. Make sure to use the hashtag OverTheEdgeDE. If you're tuned in from afar, please let us know where you're tuning in from so that we can acknowledge that. We've had somebody as far as Canada who has tweeted us so far. Our next two guests, we're going to bring in Jean Beck first. Jean was one of the ones that was videoed, raised over $2,000, I believe. And Jean is the one I told you that when we need something done and we need it done well, and we need it done right, and we need it done without a lot of questions being asked, Jean gets it done. And Jean Beck, your first time, I know you were a little bit leery going over. How'd it feel?
It was an awesome event.
Yeah?
It was an awesome experience, yes.
Would you do it again? Whether you do or not, that's not the question.
Going in this morning, I didn't think I would. Absolutely now I would do it again.
Yeah, no doubt.
So
Okay.
I would start off a little bit better. I don't know if you saw my start.
We've talked. Jimmy was on. Jimmy Smith, who is managing the broadcast right now with the different camera angles, was on the air with me, and we saw somebody sit on the side of the building.
That would be me.
And I said to Jimmy, I said, I've been doing this for 4 years, which means I've seen roughly 300 people go over over the edge. And I said, now, I have to admit, I don't see every single person take every single step, but I could never remember anybody having the confidence, and I think I put it that way, to sit on the side of the building.
Well, it wasn't intentional, but it certainly made it an interesting story.
Well, that's the difference between you and me, Gene. I'm going to do that. I've already committed to doing this next year, and if that happens to me, I'm going to say it's intentional. But that's the difference between you and me. You could have. Nobody would have ever known that was accidental until you told me that. But you know what? You recovered very quickly.
Well, I said, what do we need to do?
Yep, got it up there.
So.
You fix it real quick, right?
Yes, that's right.
Oh, well, that's great. Now, was there ever a point on the way down where you thought to yourself, basically, this is a piece of cake. I've got this now. Or is
yeah,
it,
absolutely.
Yeah,
at
what
actually
point?
Sitting on the edge.
Really?
Yeah.
That's when you
put
felt.
Your feet back on the edge. I'm like, we can do this. Not a problem. And it was good. Then the fall,
Yeah.
And then
it added some drama.
Add a little drama too. When I got my feet back straight, I said we can do this.
There you go. Well, you can see we got other people harnessed up there, and this is the angle a lot of people really like to see is when you can see the people actually making that. You're still attached here.
Right.
You got plenty of help there. You're not at the point. We've told people once you start going over, I don't think they would pull people back, like if somebody panicked. And we've never had anybody freeze. But if you did freeze, they just lower you to the ground. So in other words, you could freeze and you're still perfectly safe. But you get to that point where you take that step off and all right, now I'm on my way. That just must be an exhilarating feeling.
It was absolutely exhilarating to see down. You can hear the people up there. And I can tell you this morning I was watching the live streaming before I came here.
Right.
And seeing the contraption at the top, I just got a thumbs up. Seeing the contraption at the top actually put me at ease. I'm like, all right, that's what it looks like.
Yeah.
That's what it's going to be like. This is easy. There's big, heavy metal poles.
Exactly. Well, and Jimmy commented on that as well. He said that's his favorite shot because people can literally see if you're sitting at home wondering just how safe this event is. You look at all this, everything rigged up. You look, you got 4 different color ropes.
Right.
They're keeping you up there, and it's just the safety measures that go into this event. It's why they've got 100% success rate in the thousands of events and literally tens and hundreds of thousands of people that have gone over the edge, not here in Delaware, but all over North America. Before I let you go, Special Olympics, near and dear to your heart, obviously. Your son is a Special Olympics athlete. I was talking to Jimmy about how neat it is when I go to the Brennan swim pool where we both belong, and you see Matt in there swimming around. He swims better than most of the kids there, and I have to figure part of that is because of the confidence Special Olympics has given him.
Yeah, Special Olympics has made a big difference in his life and his ability to compete at his own level, at his own pace, in anything he wants to. And he can't get on a regular Little League team because he just can't keep up with those guys at his age of 13. And so for him to go and do whatever he wants at his pace and feel really good about himself is what Special Olympics is all about.
And that's so important in youth sports in general. I know with my own kids and having raised one son who's a senior in college now, there were just some sports that he wasn't comfortable doing and he didn't like, and so he stopped doing it. And so one of the neat things for people in Special Olympics is it gives them the opportunity to be on a field where they're comfortable, where they feel accepted, where they feel they make friends, whether it's with other Special Olympics athletes or unified partners, and they get to be a part of a team. And that really is so important. People I think underestimate sometimes the importance of that, and we forget how important that is for any child to be part of a team.
Absolutely.
And so that's what we give. So
and it's his friends and all, and it just means a lot to him.
Yeah. All right. Well, Gene, thank you for stopping by. I know the nerve-wracking part of the day is over. It's certainly going to be an easy part of the day from here. Thank you not only for being part of this event, but both personally, you and I have worked on a lot of things over the years, for what you do for Special Olympics in our. I know you're such a valued volunteer in our office.
Well, thank you. And it's easy to work for a great group of people.
All righty. Well, thank you, Gene, very much. We'll see you next year on the end of the building. All right, Gene Beck. In a second, we're going to bring on Melanie Blanco. Let's get you caught up with what's going up on top. We have Colleen O'Brien is the person you see, and Stacy Dedinas is going to be going down with Colleen. Colleen, I can tell you, is a long time, she's a nurse at the Charlton School, and so she has seen firsthand what Special Olympics has done for people with intellectual disabilities. The Charlton program has more than 100 students in it that participate in Special Olympics year-round, and Colleen is at every event as the nurse, but she is also willing to chip in whenever she can. And I saw her last week at a roller skating event, and she couldn't stop talking about how excited she was to go over the edge. Stacy is in her second year. Colleen, by the way, going over for the first time. Stacy in her second year. She's a volunteer for Special Olympics. Stacy, and I know Jimmy's listening to me. He doesn't have the headset. Actually, I'm going to throw him the headset if he doesn't mind. Jimmy, at the University of Delaware track, Stacy and her husband were the ones when I started doing Special Olympics 20 years ago, and I needed somebody to stage 300 people in a track meet in about 4 hours. I called on Stacy and her husband, and they really set the template for how staging was going to be done for Special Olympics track and field for the next several years. In fact, it's still done that way. In fact, I believe we've recruited Stacy to help with staging at the pool this year. That is just how good she is at it.
Wow.
So anyway, I just think she's a wonderful example of volunteering for Special Olympics. Another person that does not have a child with special needs or a relative, from what I know. She just has a passion for what they do here for Special Olympics. And Jimmy, we're approaching the almost 2 o'clock hour. We're still waiting for that rope check. They were supposed to do the rope check at 1:20, and
I think the rope checks are faster than we think.
And that
they
might
are.
be, but usually the rope check, we see somebody going down who we don't know, and unless you've seen
That
that,
has not
and I
happened.
missed it, right? I have not seen that. So usually the rope check is a technician who does it. They readjust the ropes, and it's all based on the number of people that have gone down. It's not a time thing.
Right.
It's based on the number of people. So it very well might be that they were estimating it would be 120, and it just hasn't happened yet. So that's Stacy Dodinas again. You can see getting ready to go down. She has climbed Mount Kilimanjaro.
Wow. That
is impressive. She's done ice hiking on glaciers in New Zealand, and she's tracked wolves in Yellowstone Park. Now, I would want to go the other way if I saw wolves in Yellowstone Park. I watch those National Geographic shows at night, and I've watched the ones with the wolves and stuff like that, and I can't imagine trying to find wolves. I think it'd be neat in a safe environment to see them in the wild.
A zoo.
And a zoo. It was a perfect example, or from a helicopter.
Or on TV.
Or on TV, like I do with my popcorn. But anyway, so actually I hope Stacy comes on so I can ask her about that. Melanie, we're going to ask Melanie Blanco to come over here, the third generation of Spences. Melanie, probably there's nobody that talks to Melanie in the Special Olympics family. I think the only advantage she might have is that her last name is not Spence, because it is her mother actually who married a Blanco, obviously, and so she does not have the last name Spence. Otherwise, being a volunteer in Special Olympics with the last name Spence is sort of like being Michael Jordan's son on the basketball court. They're just really, you can't compare it. And we've talked about your grandparents being in the Hall of Fame, and my guess is you were at that Hall of Fame ceremony. You maybe were 3 years old or something.
Yes.
You probably don't remember it. I'll put it that way. What is your fondest memory, or I guess your longest memory from a long time ago, where you remember realizing how important Special Olympics was to your grandparents, and obviously now you've made a career out of working with people with special needs in the Appoquinimink School District. But what are some of your memories growing up about Special Olympics?
Everywhere you went, Grammy and Gramps knew someone, and they would always come up to them and say, "Winnie,"
right.
or "Barbara," and they were so excited, and then their enthusiasm just showed me how much it really meant to them to be a part of Special Olympics, and for our whole family. So.
And it's carried on. And it's safe to say if it's, and this is no disrespect to Governor Jack Markell, but it's safe to say if it's Governor Jack Markell, your Gramps, is that what you got?
Yes.
And Granny, Barbara and Winnie Spence, and 10 people walk up to the trio, most of them are going to know Barb and Winnie, and they might recognize Jack Martell, but they won't know him by name. And that's just the way it
Everyone
is.
knows Winnie and Barbara.
And so this is your third year going over
my
the
third
edge?
year.
And, I've asked people this. We've got two people going down. This Colleen O'Brien, who has started her way down, and also Stacy Dodinas. Stacy, a repeat edger, Colleen going for the first time, both longtime volunteers. And Melanie, how you were a runner at Towson, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And so you certainly have the athletic background, and you work with the young children both in school, and you've generously offered to help us already have kickstarted the Young Athletes Program in the MOT area. You were an elite athlete. There are Special Olympics athletes who are elite athletes, but quite frankly, preschoolers, I don't care who you are not elite athletes. And what's the difference, and what do you enjoy about working with kids who aren't elite athletes? And again, I'm not saying they're not elite athletes because they're not Special Olympics athletes. Nobody in preschool is an elite athlete at that point in their life, and so a completely different thing than what you grew up with.
I really enjoy just teaching them those skills that they're really going to need for the future, and kickstarting, getting them involved in something that's going to be so important to them, that's going to build their social relationships and really be a part of their lives. I've seen that firsthand from my buddy Matthew and all of those that I work with. When they're involved in Special Olympics, it's really a huge part of their life, and that inspiration that they give me is really important too. So
you're working with a group of preschoolers, young athletes is the term we use in Special Olympics, and I saw your email. You've got a swim event planned at the Mary Campbell Center. And talk to the people who are tuned in who may not be real familiar with the Young Athletes program. They don't run 20. We had Matt Montgomery on, an accomplished swimmer. He was talking about his events, the 25-meter this, the individual medley that. The Young Athlete Swim program is a little bit different than that. Describe it for us, if you would.
We're just really going to, for those younger kids, we're going to focus on the skills that they've really learned. Sometimes they're really afraid to get in their water, and that's a really big step for them. So we really want to focus on they're able to get in the water and look what they've learned when they've gotten in the water, and then build them up to when they're ready to compete when they're 8 years old in Special Olympics, and work on those skills. It's really hard for some of them to work on kicking and using their arms at the same time. So work on using those two motor acts together to learn to really swim. And
it must be rewarding for you to see the reaction of the parents. You mentioned for some of these kids, and it's really any child potentially has the fear of the water or doesn't want to get in. I've coached kids in ice hockey. We had one player who literally until he was in high school, he would never be part of the swim party. He wanted nothing to do with the water, and it's not because something had happened. He just didn't want to be part of the water. So the parents must really, they must just glow when they realize the comfort of their child getting in the water.
Their joy and their pride really, gives me joy and pride in being able to coach them and see how far that they do come, because they, sometimes start out that they can't get in the water, and then they've, by the end of swimming, they've gained all these skills. They have learned to kick, and they have learned to use their arms in the water and, put them together to really start swimming. So the pride that the parents show me is so important.
Yeah, and I've always talked about swimming as one of the, we offer 20 sports in Special Olympics, but swimming off the top of my head is the only one I can think of that if you learn that skill, it could save your life someday.
Yes,
it's great if you can run around the track, but it's not going to save your life. It's great if you can shoot a free throw, not going to save your life. Swimming is one of those sports that I think every kid should be part of, Special Olympics or not. And I've mentioned a couple times, I said it with Gene, I said it before Gene got on the air. It's always neat for me to go to the pool. Matt and I belong to the same pool, and to see him, you go in and he's diving and dodging and moving around and is in every game.
He just beat me in a race the other day.
Exactly, and he keeps up with not only kids his age, but the older kids there. In fact, I remember bringing my kids and pointing to Matt and saying to my two boys, say, look, guys, that's what you can do if you take the time to learn how to swim.
Right.
But it doesn't come naturally.
Right.
It's not like a dog. It jumps in the water and just starts swimming. You have to learn it, and so that's a great thing about the Young Athletes program.
That's so important for
Matt is the perfect example of what can happen if you learn those skills.
Absolutely. All
right, well, listen, Melanie, I won't keep you any longer. I know you probably want to go see Grammy and Gramps. They're upstairs on the 10th floor, and congratulations on the third consecutive Over the Edge. I'm hoping we see you back again next year.
Yes, absolutely.
But you've certainly done more than your cause here for this, so we appreciate it, and thank you for everything you do when you're not hanging from the side of a building.
Thank you.
All right, Melanie Blanco, a third-generation volunteer for Special Olympics Delaware, as you watch Colleen and Stacy. Stacy's on your screen right now, coming down. And Melanie gets a high five from a fellow edger out there, and Colleen is now on your screen. You can see her inching her way down. And, Jimmy, we talked about these guys. It's never a race coming down as you see Stacy landing. Stacy, again, is a veteran edger, and by veteran we mean 2 years. If you've gone more than once, we consider you a veteran edger. And so she has landed very comfortable there, and seems very accomplished with what she was doing there. Don't forget, you can send us tweets if you want, #TheEdgeDE. Make sure to include that if you want to email us. Wave to the crowd there from Stacy. Stacy's husband, that's him in the back with that big camera lens. He probably got some pretty good pictures, Jimmy. You're the camera expert. That size of a lens, flipped off there. That's going to be impressive photos from up top. Those of you that are watching and want to see photos, they will all be posted on the SODE.org website in the coming weeks. And so make sure to stop back. You can actually purchase photos of your favorite edger at a very, very, very minimal cost. That basically is just a cost enough for us to keep the website, that part of the website, up and running. So Colleen making her way down here. Again, Colleen is a nurse at the Charlton School. A couple times I've asked Colleen for favors when we haven't been able to get other nurses to volunteer, and she's always more than willing to step up and help out. She also has come up to our summer games, her first official weekend off of the school year, and has come up to volunteer for that. So kind of a neat story. Colleen was very excited to get down here. Again, these camera angles you're seeing are compliments of Jimmy Smith and his crew. First time we've streamed this event online. Safe to say it's not going to be the last with our number count there. Jimmy, what's our numbers so far?
Let me take a look here. We are at 1,638 total. We will hit 2,000 by the end of the day, and that's, boy, that's big.
That's going to be impressive. One of the ones coming up, and this is not to downplay anybody else that does this event, but Kayla Miller is going over the edge, slated for 220. We know she is in the building. Kayla's a fan favorite, whether you're a University of Delaware fan or a Blue Rocks fan or just a Delaware fan in general. Of course, grew up, went to school here in Delaware, Ursuline Academy, played with Elena Deladon. But it's safe to say, Elena is always going to be Elena Deladon.
Yeah.
But I can tell you, if there's nobody, I don't think, and Jimmy, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I know you're not from Delaware and haven't been here as long as
but
I
know
have.
who she is.
But I know you know who she is. My question was going to be, I'm not sure there's anybody who could have played alongside Elena Deladon and made a name for herself like Kayla Miller.
And I think it had to do with her relationship with Elena.
Yes,
and being able to be coexistent with Elena. Right. Knowing that maybe some of the tomfoolery that they got themselves into in high school was because of Kayla.
Right.
Elena was not that they were both not fantastic athletes, but sometimes Kayla was the smarts behind the pranks, and Elena was the one who actually made them happen. But I know their relationship was great, and I think that helped kind of on all fronts. That helped Elena find a place to play. I feel like that that gave Kayla her ability to shine because she was able to coexist, and everybody was really able to coexist. But Kayla's just such a dynamic person, and it's events like this. It's her every time we went anywhere, covering her and being around her when we went out in the community. Lines out the door, always for Kayla Miller, and it's so impressive. Whether it was a Special Olympics event, whether it was going to an elementary school, whether it was the Ronald McDonald House.
Right.
Those are the things where Kayla really shines. She shines on the court, and she absolutely shines outside of it.
Yeah, she was on the Rick Jensen show a couple weeks ago. She went on. Rick Jensen not only graciously went over the edge on Media Day yesterday and dedicated the first hour, and quite frankly, all 3 hours of his program to Special Olympics. He wasn't on for the last 2 hours. Carl and Carl were. But Rick had a guest on every Friday leading up, and Kayla was one of them. And Rick went out of his way to email me and talk about what a dynamic personality Kayla is. And those of us who are around Kayla, I covered her, you covered her.
Yep.
We know she's got that dynamic personality, but it's always neat to see other people realize what a great person she is. And Colleen O'Brien coming down there. We had a tweet come in from Mad Indy to Gene Beck. Gene was the one we had on just a couple minutes ago. Go, Jean, the dancing machine. Well, she didn't dance, but she certainly got down the side of that building. And it was interesting listening to her talk about literally sitting on the side of the building.
Yeah.
And I give her credit for admitting it was an accident. I was dead serious. If that happens to me, I'm telling everybody I did it on purpose.
It seemed cocky. It seemed like she was just, I got this.
That's right. That's right. The only people that will know I didn't do it by accident are the people up there hanging on to me. So
when you hear whoops, we might have to put mics up top next year.
We might, yeah.
It's risky.
It's risky, right?
But it's a whole nother dynamic.
We might need a 7-second delay if we're going to do that. All right, it's 2 o'clock. We are 5 hours into what's probably going to be a 7-hour broadcast, maybe a little bit over 7 hours. Our last repellers are scheduled to go at 4 o'clock. We look like we're right on schedule according to
we've
what
been
I've
hitting
seen.
everything pretty good here.
Yeah, and then we have an order of event. If the person you tuned in to watch, I'm sure you probably tuned in a little bit early. I'm not sure anybody went early. People are pretty much going right on time, so you haven't missed anybody coming up here. This is, again, Colleen O'Brien coming down. What time was she slated to come down?
Colleen was supposed to come down at 1:30.
Okay,
so
and that's about when she started. She's taken a little bit.
I think there was a group that went ahead of her,
And
and then she and another grouping. They've been going kind of in odd numbers,
Right.
so it hasn't been 50 and 51. It's been 50 and 52, 51, 53. So, it's right in line. And if anything, you're early watching the broadcast.
Yeah.
You get to watch some more of it.
That's right, exactly. So we appreciate everybody that's tuned in to watch this. This is the 4th annual Over the Edge event to benefit Special Olympics Delaware, sponsored by TD Bank and Brandywine Realty Trust and supported by Delaware Law Enforcement for Special Olympics, the Sheraton Suites here in Wilmington, and the Delaware Rock Gym. We actually had one addition. Originally it was going to be 74 people. By the end of today, there will have been 75 people who have gone over the edge. 76. Somebody raised the money in 48 hours.
Wow.
He works as a store manager in Manassas, Virginia, longtime donor to Special Olympics. So Chris Como will be going over at $250. Raised this money, Chris Corno, I guess it is, for TD Bank, one of the sponsors here, along with Brandywine Realty Trust. The building is 222 feet, 17 stories. It's the 7th tallest building in Wilmington. As I mentioned earlier, if this building was in Maine, South Dakota, Vermont, or Wyoming, it would be the tallest building in that state. And, I was surprised, Jimmy, when I looked that stat up. I expected it to maybe would have been the tallest building in Rhode Island and New Hampshire and a couple of the smaller ones. But, when you're talking about Maine, you've got the city of Portland, South Dakota, and Vermont was a smaller state, obviously, but Wyoming a big state as well.
Wilmington's a bigger city than I think a lot of people realize.
I think you're right, yeah.
And when the buildings that are bigger, the tallest of buildings, they're bank buildings. I mean, sometimes it's a show of power to have the biggest buildings, and it turns into an arms race. And so, as Colleen has finally made her way down, but it's still a very big building. I think that the tallest building is maybe another 50 feet.
Yeah.
At that point, it doesn't matter. It's tall enough.
That's right. All right, Colleen is down. I saw somebody else come down on the other roof. Is that an edger?
That might have been one of your checks.
I think that is maybe one of the checks.
Or maybe not.
Yeah, he's got a badge on. Is that Hank Tomsic?
That might have been.
Might have been Hank.
Let me check upstairs here really quickly.
Might have been Hank. We're checking to see who that other one is. As I mentioned earlier, we were due for a rope check, and not sure if that was the rope check.
That was that. No, that was
Hank. Okay, so he's down. Hank Tomsic.
He put up his graphic here because he went down in 2 seconds.
That'd be great. He did fly down. We don't have any geographical information on Hank, and maybe that's why he knew he wasn't going to have time to come down. So Hank Tomsic is down at the bottom. I know he is the parent of a Special Olympics athlete, Ziggy Tomsic, and his wife Jane we had on the air earlier, who came down also. So Hank is safely on the ground in what would be record time. We've never kept records, and part of that is we don't want people racing down to keep the safety part of it, but he certainly did come down.
That was something impressive, though. I mean,
it was.
Sorry, Hank, if we didn't get you on there enough, but I don't think that was your goal.
Jimmy, I think we might have time for a video. I don't see anybody. Oh, no, we don't. We got Sarah.
They're all lined
Tomo.
up. I'm pretty
they're
sure
lined up.
This is Sarah.
This is Sarah. I know Sarah's mother, Cheryl, is a member of our Special Olympics staff, and Cheryl and Sarah went down together last year. And so, as I half jokingly but also half seriously said, I was scheduled to go down last year and gave up my spot for Cheryl so she could go down with her daughter. I thought it's the least I could do, Jimmy. And
you're giving up your spot and acting like you're doing everybody a big favor.
Exactly. I should have done like those guys do when they want uniform numbers when somebody gets traded and had them pay me for my spot. But they had a great time. Going down together last year, and Sarah's getting ready to go down. She had such a good time, she's getting ready to go down for a second time. She's a longtime volunteer for Special Olympics. She helps us out at the plunge, also at the reindeer run. Those of you from Delaware, if you've been in the reindeer run and you recognize Sarah, that's why. She is one of the ones that helps out at the reindeer run. She wanted to send out a thank you to everyone at Wilmington University, the YMCA of Delaware, and other friends and family who donated. She'll be coming down to the song Warrior's Call. So she is up there. Sarah's a fitness person. She's what I call a fitness guru. She works out more in a day than I do in a week. And so it'll be interesting. I'd like to get her on the air afterward and talk to her about the new device. This new device we've talked about is instead of squeezing, you pull to lower yourself. And everybody we've talked to said it's much easier on your arm.
Yep.
And so
definitely see that. It's if you've done it a bunch of times, we've heard that consistently too. It's different.
Yes.
It's not that it's harder.
Right.
It's just that it's different, and when you get used to something that's so traumatic like this,
right,
it becomes your crutch, and now you got to do something different, even though it's easier. It was a little bit of a curveball for some people.
Yeah, and Sarah, you can see her taking that dip back, big smile on her face. She's ready to go. She was excited to do this for a second time. Last year, as we mentioned, went down with her mother, who works for Special Olympics, Cheryl Tomo, and this time going solo. Our colleague who went down earlier today was Ruth Coughlin. She had the Special Olympics Delaware slot, and apparently I'm going to have it next year.
It is my understanding that the other one is Jennifer Harrison.
Jennifer Harrison is on the left there,
yep.
Looking down. She works for Macintosh Engineering. She's looking forward to knowing she supported a great cause. Also looking forward to the view. And it doesn't say here whether she was a first-time edger or not. I'm going to assume she is because she doesn't say she wasn't. Usually they tell us if they weren't. And she's doing it for Gage Bador. It's her second year, Katie tells me. An awesome little boy with Kleefstra syndrome. It's the first year to be eligible for Special Olympics, so a new Special Olympics athlete here. Special Olympics, again, is the benefactor of this wonderful event. 3,700 children and adults with intellectual disabilities throughout the state of Delaware take part in 20 sports year-round. We have feature events year-round, but probably the one event people are most familiar with is our Summer Games, coming up June 6th and 7th at the University of Delaware. For more information, go to SODE.org and click on the Summer Games logo. And if you're wondering how can I get involved in this event next year and go over the edge, you can sign up today. Go to SOD.org, click on the Over the Edge banner, and you will be able to sign up. We only need $50 today, and that secures your spot for next year's Over the Edge event, which will be Thursday, May 14th. It is always the second Thursday in May. So you can put your $50 down today and start raising your money. You have the entire year to do so. Jennifer Harrison has been part of the plane pull before. Those of you familiar with Special Olympics Delaware, the plane pull was a long-standing event that no longer takes place for a variety of reasons. It was sponsored by the National Guard and run by the Delaware Air National Guard. Wonderful supporters of Special Olympics, still are. They still provide the people power behind the Summer Games logistics and operations. But Jennifer was on a plane pull team at one point. So she's very familiar with Special Olympics. Here they go, Jennifer Harrison on one side and Sarah Tomo on the other. Not sure whether they're trying to coordinate their rappel together or not, but so far
seems like we're back in sync for
the
first time here in a while.
So again, we're past the 5-hour mark of the broadcast, a couple hours to go. The weather outside is really almost perfect. People might be looking and saying, well, geez, it doesn't look very sunny, and I don't think it is overly sunny outside. Jimmy, you and I are inside here. We can't see the outside, but just looking on the excellent pictures that we're seeing here, it doesn't look sunny outside. And quite frankly, at this point in the day, if it is sunny, the sun is beaming right down between the buildings, and it can get very uncomfortable for the people that have to be out in the sun, particularly the people on the roof. There is no, there you see them, there is no hiding from the sun. It does look a little bit sunny out there.
That's where it looks sunny, and then I'll show you this shot, and it's kind of almost dreary and cloudy.
Yeah.
And then here's a good example of the sun that's actually.
But either way, it hasn't been sunny all day, which will help even if they've got a couple hours of sun here, it's not going to be as bad as it would be if it was sunny all day. Very little wind. You can see the flag, the Special Olympics flag there, just waving. But I can tell you that Special Olympics flag would wave if you closed the door with the current that it would create. And the ropes you can see are not going side to side at all. And that's usually the indication. Not that they would stop it if the ropes were going side to side. It would have to be pretty windy for them to stop it. But I can tell you from experience, the fact those ropes there at the bottom you can see are not swaying side to side significantly tells me that the is not overly windy out there. As we got Jennifer Harrison on the left, I believe, and Sarah Tomo on the right. Is that right, Jimmy?
Got Harrison's on the yellow or gold, so that's on the right. And Talmo is on the left, the blue.
Had it mixed up. Thanks for straightening that out. Sarah, again, a repeat edger, and we believe Jennifer Harrison is going over for the first time. So we're going to watch them come down, and we're still keep promising you these PSAs. We've got them lined up. Jimmy did a great job getting them all loaded, and we're going to try to get one, show you at least one. We've got a longer one. We were waiting for the rope check for it that really shows the images of Special Olympics where people can get a true appreciation. If you just tuned in and you're not familiar with Special Olympics other than, I think by now, Jimmy, everybody knows what Special Olympics is. But there's a lot of misconceptions about Special Olympics, I find, as I talk to people. One is that everybody's in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
And that's not the case. Do we have athletes who use a wheelchair?
Sure.
We absolutely do. Yeah. Another misconception is everybody in Special Olympics has Down syndrome. Again, a misconception. Not all of our athletes, in fact, probably less than 15% of our athletes have Down syndrome. So just a couple of misconceptions there. Not everybody in Special Olympics is a kid. You hear people say all the time, the kids, the kids, the kids. And yes, half of our 3,700 athletes are kids.
Right.
The other half are adults, many of them older than you and I. And so, that is a common misperception. Also, people think, all we do is run track.
Yeah.
Because when Special Olympics started 49 years ago, when Eunice Kennedy Shriver, the late Eunice Kennedy Shriver, started Special Olympics, that's what it was. It was a track meet. And I believe they had swimming that first year as well. But as people will see, if they want to come to the University of Delaware on June 6th and 7th, 6 sports. I'm going to try to rattle them off without missing them again. Track, swimming, bocce, softball, tennis, powerlifting. Got them all. And they will see a variety of skills at the event that day.
Yeah, that's a very dynamic and differentiating type of day of athletics there. It's
and we had Jonathan on, who bench presses 404 pounds.
Yep.
And then there'll be some athletes there in the pool who might walk 10 meters, and that's the event for them. As you heard Melanie Blanco talk about, that's the athlete who didn't want to get in the water 8 weeks ago, but has been practicing and practicing and practicing, and now all of a sudden is ready to get in the pool. There again, we have Jennifer Harrison and Sarah Tomo coming down and making their way. Sarah, a repeat edger. Jennifer, we believe, doing it for the first time, or Katie, did you tell me?
The sheet
Jennifer,
I have here says
time?
This is a second
there
year.
There you go. I got it. Nope,
so
you're right.
The red meaning second year.
Yep, that's my fault. I was reading the wrong sheet there. So 2 veteran edgers in this 4th year of the Overedge event. Over $355,000 has been raised for Special Olympics for this event. We hope to raise at least another $75,000 today and get closer to that $450,000 mark. Who knows? Maybe even get up to $500,000. Like I said, $1,100 to do this event, but a lot of people raise a lot more money than that to do it. And I would think, Jimmy, somebody like you who has pretty much convinced us you're not going over the edge next year would be more than happy to chip into somebody who would if it was a friend.
Yeah.
And that's how people raise money.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, this is kind of tooting your own horn here, but now that we've kind of given you the opportunity to be a part of it remotely, I think that may even increase your donations or your, I want to give, but I want to see you do it because it's almost like a dare. I'm daring you to do this, and you got to prove that you did it.
It's like the
now
polar bear plunge. Send me a
Yep.
picture when you're in the ocean in February. I want to give a shout out to Jen. I'm assuming this is to Jen Harrison, who is on the side of the building right now from RCHD tweeted. Good luck, Jen. All the charitable housewives are rooting for you over the Edge DE SO Delaware. Again, if you're going to send us a tweet, hashtag over the Edge DE.
John, check this out. Look at that.
Ah, there she is. Kayla Miller. She's got her Rocky Blue Winkle horns on. She's getting ready to go over the edge. And I don't think anybody knows Kayla is surprised she's talking, Jimmy, while she's up there.
I can't imagine that. She'll be talking to herself or her rope partner the rest of the way down, I bet.
So
Look at how demonstrative she is.
That's right. She's
223 feet in the air.
And she's probably talking to the videographer there, and we'll have her in when we're done. And we'll flash back and watch Sarah finish. And Jennifer, they're coming down. Jackie Sheldon tweeted, the building with a picture is about Kayla Noel 10, which is Kayla Miller's Twitter account, is about to rappel down. So she's got a picture up there. Thanks to Jackie Sheldon for sharing that. Obviously, Jackie's in the audience waiting for Kayla. There is Jennifer making her way down. She's got over that last lip of the ledge where they pull you out. And there you go, a safe, comfortable landing. And Sarah Tomo will be next, finishing her second year as Jennifer just did. Smiles on the faces there. Again, we talked earlier, if you just tuned in, the technicians just do a fabulous job. Everybody I talk to, whether they're a first-time edger or going over for the 4th time, talk about how comfortable the technicians make you feel when they're up there. As you see Sarah dropping one final time. As safe and 100% pure safe as this event is, I'm sure Sarah's mom, Cheryl, upstairs, is breathing a sigh of relief. They're watching the broadcast up in the headquarters of this event on the 10th floor. And
is that a little moonwalk there at the end?
Yeah. You know, any parent, anytime their child does something like this, is always happy to see them land safely. Cheryl was probably more concerned about her own safety last year. Here she got to sit back and watch her oldest of 2 children do this event for the second time. Another credit to generations doing this event, people getting involved. And there are the Moose Antlers of Kayla Miller, who will be heading down shortly. Kayla, again, the star point guard of the University of Delaware women's team last year that just enthralled the entire first state. In fact, people still talk about it. And she is ready to go down, representing the Blue Rocks there. Got the souvenir horns there. And if you've ever been to a Blue Rocks game, you know who Kayla Miller is.
You've maybe purchased something from her.
Probably. It's hard to say no to Kayla, and that's why she does so well. Waving to the crowd there. I believe she works full-time for Dynamic Physical Therapy. We'll ask her when she comes in here, but I believe that's who she works for, and they've helped support her for that. She's the marketing manager for Dynamic Physical Therapy, and as she says, she's the all-yeah souvenir girl at the Wilmington Blue Rocks. I know my kids get a kick out of her every time they see her there, and undoubtedly I end up spending money when I'm there as well. This is her first time edging. She's not scared about going over the edge. However, she thought once she went on top and had to climb over the ledge, she's going to be petrified. Well, she certainly doesn't seem petrified right there. Kayla's a great friend of Special Olympics. She's been involved as a volunteer for years. The University of Delaware women's team refereed a lot of our events at Special Olympics. So joining Kayla is going to be Matt O'Byrne.
I believe that is Matt.
Okay. Well, we think that's Matt, Phillies fan. He's got the Phillies uniform on. We'll see if we can find if he's a fan of the Phillies. Nothing mentioned on it about there, but the other ones we have coming. Yeah, that's right. And so he's going to be going down with Kayla Miller. Kayla's never done any wild stunts, although I would consider dancing on the dugout of the Blue Rocks probably on the list of things I would never do.
I think her version of wild is a little different than some people.
I think the Blue Rocks would pay me not to dance on the dugout. Different story when Kayla does it. And, I wonder if the Blue Rocks have ever done any comparison of souvenir sales with and without Kayla Miller. My guess is it would be an easy comparison. She just a very personable
I think
person.
The guys that we know, Matt Janis and
Kevin Litton,
know how valuable Kayla Miller is.
She's probably the only souvenir girl in the entire minor league system who can go in and renegotiate her contract after every year. So anyway, the Kayla getting ready to go over and take a drop back there along with, we believe, is Matt O'Byrne. We're going to try to get confirmation of that, trying to get the call upstairs so that we can confirm that. Checking with Katie right now. Has done an exceptional job keeping us on track. I got the thumbs up from Jimmy, so we got Matt ready to go down. Let's tell you a little bit about Matt. He works at Casarino, Christman, Schalk, Ransom, and Doss, public attorney. So I'm going to assume he's an attorney. He has been affiliated with Special Olympics, doing a lot of different events that benefit Special Olympics. He's a first-time edger. Jokingly said he's scared of needing a change of clothes. We won't elaborate on what that might mean, but hope that it's that he doesn't by the time he gets down.
The first honest person today.
Yeah, you're right. There you go. That's the best way you can put it. Looking forward to experiencing something new and exciting while helping a great cause to help bring awareness and education to the community concerning individuals with intellectual disabilities. Inspiration of close friends Petrell Purcell Cook, her husband John, and their daughter Classy. Go Team Classy and everyone involved with Special Olympics. Thanks to everyone who has donated. Now, here's the list of things Matt has done as he gets going. Skydiving.
Oh, okay.
Cliff jumping.
Yeah.
Let me know when you've done one of these things, Jimmy. Rappelling into underwater sinkholes. Now,
I'm not even able to visualize
it's in
what that
parentheses.
is.
It says CENOTES. I don't know if that's the term for underwater sinkholes. We've got our crack intern here is going to get us that information. Boy, how good is she? CENOTES. Rappelling into underwater sinkholes. And there's Kayla getting ready to go over. She thought this would be the moment she would be petrified.
Yep, you see it though.
Yeah, you can see she's not not talking as much.
No.
We'll ask her about that when she comes in. It's not often where you see Kayla Miller, and she doesn't talk, and I mean that in a very funny, positive way. All right, from Kara Pokrovsky, watching my girl, Kayla Miller, from my office. Ah, there you go. We got somebody tuned in their office.
Kara actually popped in here. Kara's a former multimedia intern with us. So she popped by to see the team, and I appreciate her stopping by.
There you go.
But she, of course, went to high school with Kayla and Elena. So she was part of the comedy troupe.
There you go.
That was that group.
Good way to put it. Oh, no hands by Kayla. There you go. You know, I see this tweet we got here from Kara Pokrovsky.
You got it there.
Butchered that all the time. Showing us her watching it in her office on the computer. I'm starting to think with all the people tuning in, we're going to need, it's like the NCAA tournament. We need one of those boss screens next year. You got a year to work on that, Jimmy.
All
so
right.
somebody can flip on it and look like they're working.
Just need an Excel spreadsheet graphic, that's all.
All right, now, I wasn't done with the things Matt O'Byrne is doing. And
I was just trying to hide the fact I haven't done it.
I was going to say, I'm still waiting for you to say
Did we find out what the CSC?
There, we got it.
Oh,
Playa
boy.
del Carmen. All right, so the
I'm going there for my honeymoon.
There you are.
I am.
Jimmy, you can add that to your
Oh, my
list.
goodness.
Kayla takes that first big step over the side there. Let's see if we can pull Matt back up and see where he is.
Yeah, let's get
see while we talk about him. All right, so Matt's done the skydiving, the cliff jumping, the rappelling into the underwater sinkholes, which one of them is this cenotes. I don't know how you pronounce that, but I apologize. I'm probably butchering that. And here's another thing he's done. He's done kayaking with orca whales. Kayaking with orca whales. Now, people tell me that whales are very gentle. They say that about dolphins. I think I'd rather kayak. I'm not sure I would kayak with a dolphin either, but orca whale.
Orca whales are more commonly known as killer whales. I don't know. When I was a kid, I really was interested in whales and dolphins. I don't know if I would be in the water with killer whales at all.
Yeah, but I guess if you can rappel into an underwater sinkhole, the kayaking with the orca whales might not be too bad. And so Matt O'Byrne coming down, when you watch him, he came down pretty quick.
Came down,
yeah, he flew down pretty quick. And given the other things that he's done, there's no question that he was going to do that. So we're going to get Matt in here if we can make sure to pull Matt in here. I need to find out more about these underwater sinkhole rappelling and how it compares to coming down the side of a building.
Yeah, because actually we're planning on going to Playa del Carmen for the honeymoon.
I'll let your wife know
and I'd like to know where I need to avoid.
yeah. That way you won't get suckered in.
Right.
The next thing you know, we'll be hearing from you hanging from a rope into a sinkhole. That'll at least make this experience a piece of cake, I would think. Kayla looked like she's managing it, tiptoeing her way down here. People down at the bottom watching her, and so she's slowly making her way down here. And Kayla will be a fun interview afterward. Looking forward to having her on. But I'm looking forward more. With all due respect to everybody we've talked to today, this Matt O'Byrne guy, I still can't get over the rappelling into the underwater sinkholes. So we've got to hear more about that. Kayla, you can see her ponytail flopping a little bit there. We'll get a wind report from Matt when he comes in here as to how that's gone. But you can see it's still not too windy. Based, again, on the years of experience here, you see the rope to Kayla's right is not moving, or to her left there is really not moving at all, and that's usually an indication that the wind is in pretty good shape. So that's a good thing for people. All day it's been, I'm trying to think of the weather over the years. We've had some windy years, not windy enough to delay or postpone the broadcast, to postpone the event. We've had some hot years, and we've had some chilly years, but today may go down as one of the best weather-wise, and we'll have to talk to, we've got some edgers coming up this afternoon who have done it all 4 years. Danny Hall actually is scheduled to be our last edger of the day, and he's a state policeman and done all 4 years, and we'll get, might be able to get a report from him as to how the weather was up there compared to past years. So approaching the 2:30 hour, probably going to have about 2 hours left on the broadcast. We thank you for tuning in. We're approaching the 2,000 number of people who have tuned in today to the first ever live on-stream broadcast, online broadcast live stream for Over the Edge Delaware. And as far as we can tell and from what we've been told, nobody in the country or in North America has done their event live online.
Selfishly very interested in proving that fact. And I know you said some of the Over the Edge-ers or any Special Olympics representatives that are on right now that can verify on Twitter for us. That's very impressive, and a tip of the cap to you guys for, I don't want to say taking the chance because that makes it sound like we didn't have this, but for kind of, I guess, architecting the whole idea and allowing it to happen, because it's not naturally something you think. It's almost like a telethon. It's not something you naturally think to have always on, but it does make a lot of sense to have people want to be a part of it, whether they couldn't be there or they're all the way across the country or whatever it is. So it just makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and we hope people have enjoyed it. Obviously, if people have comments, positive or negative, constructive criticism, we're open for it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I've never done this before.
Pretty much guarantee we'll be doing this again next year. And, one thing I know, which has helped tremendously, is having people come in, a constant flow of people to talk about their experience. Because, even if, when I do it next year, people aren't going to want to listen to me talk about my experience. They want to hear about the people they've tuned in to see. And so that's important. And we thank the people that have been willing to come on. Kayla Miller has landed, and we'll see if we can get both Matt and Kayla to come on with us to talk about their experience in here coming down the side of the building. And not sure, we'll maybe get a rooftop shot here coming up and see if they've got other people lined up to come down. We still have those clips we want to show you, and we apologize we haven't. We did show a clip earlier on, and sure enough, we got somebody else coming down. And we realize you're tuning in to see the people you've come to watch as Kayla kisses the ground. She's probably never kissed the dugout at the Blue Rock Stadium, so they're giving a hug to somebody. Not sure.
That's her mom.
Ah, there you go. That is Kayla's
Been hugged
mom.
many times by Kayla and Dylan Miller's mom.
And Kayla's sister, of course, Miss Delaware.
Yep.
Don't know if she's in the crowd or not.
Used to intern with us.
That's right. There you
Actually.
go. There you go. And that's Dad, I believe. And now the MC is talking to Kayla, and we'll grab her when she comes in. And great job. So, back to the, we've got clips of Special Olympics we lined up we want to show you, but we don't want you to miss somebody coming down that you're scheduled to see. And so that is our first priority. We will end the broadcast with a special 3-minute tribute to Special Olympics where you'll get to see a lot of pictures and stuff. So if you're on right now and thinking, geez, as soon as this guy goes down, I got to get off, get back to work, get back to what I'm doing, try to tune back in around 4 o'clock to see that show. It really is. It summarizes what Special Olympics is all about. It's a special presentation we've put together, not for several events, but it's very fitting to give you an idea of what all these people are doing to raise money for Special Olympics, as we have Paul Petshow lined up, ready to go down. So Paul Petshow works for Brandywine Realty Trust, so he is one of the staff members of the sponsor. And he's looking forward to the amazing view. He says he's a little scared of the height, and so
you see it right now.
You can see
a little bit.
He's certainly not all smiles. But then again, you can certainly understand. You heard some people talk about, even the ones who have done it 3 or 4 times. Once they make that first step back, it's until they make that first step back, it's a little leery. He wanted to thank his wife Erica for amazing support with the fundraising campaign. He's probably coming down to Eye of the Tiger, one of my favorite songs. So Paul Petshow from Brandywine Realty Trust.
And we have just heard that he will be joined, as you'll see in this shot right here,